So we haven't been live?
No,
Okay.
but I was hearing and
All right. So I'm not sharing the constitution anymore because I don't have the rights, I think now.
we are
Now okay, I can.
yeah,
Yeah.
please. So you can give a little intro of what this constitution is, and then we are good to go.
Okay, all right. So I'll not catch up again from where we have left of last week. Yeah, the very last part last week where we ended was a constitution for a uh, project around either rural self-sufficiency based on Srila Prabhupada's teachings, uh, or a Varnasrama College project. And we were discussing about the definition of both. And we came to the point of using an existing constitution uh, as something to chew on, yeah, to discuss. I already shared before the recording started, yeah, that this constitution that we are looking at now, I'll start sharing the screen so you all can see it. It's from the New Jaipur community in Fiji. And this community, it's non-existent at this point. I see Ramananda Prabhu has joined also. Yeah, we lived together for a way too short time in New Jaipur, Fiji. And we have discussed some parts of this constitution together. And we're going to scroll through the contents and start working on this. Yeah, commenting and looking at the strengths and weaknesses, how might this constitution has contributed to the community not existing anymore? Or, well, we don't need to discuss about the reasons for that. We can just pick from this what is something we need to discuss now for existing communities or new communities starting from now on and in the future. And I hope from this we come to a kind of a blueprint that will help many future communities to start from a base where they don't need to start from scratch. And hopefully this is working for, on one hand, the rural farm community project, and also for the Varrnasrama College project. So this one is specifically for the rural farm community, self-sufficient farm community, very rural on the Fiji Islands, very, very rural. Yeah, let's start. Nimai Prabhu, you want to add something?
Yeah. So first question is for which community, whether it's a Varnashram college or a rural community. Second is I know we are looking at constitution from Nityananda Prabhu, and this is so good after like he started in New Thalawan actually. He started that project in early 1970s. And since then he has been on it. Like that has been his mission. Srila Prabhupada even came to
Yeah.
New Thalawan, gave him many instructions. So they became like his life and soul instructions, one of those life and soul instructions. And he continued on in New Jaipur in Mississippi farm when he broke away in very early 80s or maybe even late 70s. I don't know the timeline. But he started he even started having Brahmanas live there in New Jaipur, which was in Mississippi near
New
where.
Thalawan, huh?
So another farm he got, and then you did that, and in the mid 80s, then it broke apart. Late 80s, it broke apart, and then I think he was in North Carolina with trying to start the Prabhupada village, timeline I don't fully understand. But then he went to Hawaii. He was trying to start something there. Then he went to, I think, some Indonesian, some island there. Then he got the place in Fiji. Like that. He has been on it on so many years and years, like decades. So his
Mhm.
his experience will be very invaluable. I mean, this is the kind of Brahmin devotees we are thinking of as as advisors, because they have done the practical and also the spiritual, and so. But that doesn't mean that all the experiences like this constitution, everything is a workable model, because he would also agree. I mean, this community is still, it's a work in progress, no? And so right now, what we need to understand is first which community, because this constitution, I see it's more like a rural community, and that's why he was going from like place to place, different places, very remote. And I remember in 2004, I had this question and I asked him, why in Fiji? Like so far away, how will you preach? How will you get new devotees? And gradually I started to come to know soon enough, like couple of years later, that actually Shiva wanted Varnashram colleges and more like a center becomes a college. And that's what I was starting to gradually, it started to evolve in my mind that there are two different kind of rural uh, projects. Kind of rural Varnashram college could be in the city, but so this is a question for him and for all of us, whether this constitution is applicable or even desired as a model for Varnashram College, but it could act as, with all the essence of all what he has learned, it can act as a very good reference and inspiration, especially inspiration that how much he has been dedicated trying to develop the community and what Srila Prabhupada explained to him personally. And so those are invaluable lessons that we should take from this. Um, on another practical aspect on whether we should do a constitution before doing a mission state. I mean, mission statement would practically give us that Varnashram college or a rural community. And if we do the mission statement and then like what is based on Srila Prabhupada's instructions, what do we really want to do? Um, so, but I leave it to you, Prabhu. I have not read this
Mhm.
and so you may know better how it flows. So just the floor is to you and to other devotees.
Okay, yes, thank you for giving the context. I gave some of the context before the recording started, and thank you for adding on that. Yeah, New Talavan, it was exactly. Did you say he started New Jaipur after New Talavan, a different New Jaipur? Yeah, you're on mute.
New Jaipur was in Mississippi, and that became
Ah,
Ritwik, the original Ritwik community,
yeah,
where
yeah.
all the different village Vedic reviews, all the Ritwik the understanding of Prabhupada as the Diksha Guru, and all this gradually evolved. Vishwanand Prabhu was also involved there off and on, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And then gradually what we see as final order, it came out from there. And all
Yeah.
codes. Gradually, this was like the initial Brahmin devotee coming together. So he was supporting them, and I learned a lot why it broke up. A lot, whatever I could understand why it broke up, what was the problems, and it will be so nice to discuss them with him, and
Hmm.
as we develop our project constitution.
Yeah. Yeah, he shared many stories from those old communities and how how he broke away from the yeah ISKCON as it was in that times. And yeah, now here in that constitution, it starts actually with the mission statement, you could say. So this might not be the blueprint that everyone is using, and I can imagine that we come to some conclusion that is above this constitution, that is generally applicable for both types of projects, the rural farm community and the Varnsarama College. At least I hope so, that we come to some conclusions that are valid for both. Okay, let's start. Pradyumna had already started reading the invocation, and then we only started to record. Pradyumna, you want to pick up from there again?
I think it was Ranchor Prabhu. I'm sorry. I interrupted him earlier.
Yeah, yes, Prabhu, I can read.
Huh.
Therefore, because we are Krishna conscious, we are servants of God. Therefore, it is our duty to save this human civilization. You see, Krishna wants it. And to save this human civilization, these two classes are required very urgently. So, you American boys and girls, you are intelligent. You have got all facilities, at least in your country. Create these two classes, Brahmana and Kshatriya. The world will be saved and you will be saved, and Krishna will be pleased. Brahmana's business means that people should know what is God and what is our relationship with Him. That is Brahmanas. And Kshatriya's business is to give protection to the people so that may all know what is God. That Kshatriyas should give protection, otherwise, the demons will disturb. Srimad Bhagavatam lecture 1 to 14, August 17, 1972.
Yeah, there's another letter in the context of the invocation for this constitution.
Detroit, August 3rd, 1975. Letter to Mahamsha Swami. The village organization is that the local people produce their necessities like grain, vegetables, milk, and cloth. And for recreation, they have the chanting of Hare Krishna. They should they should live there comfortably and have spiritual recreation. They should not come to the cities. I wish to introduce this ideal now. Ideal, I don't know. Then, if we are successful, this cheating civilization will stop. They have made these cities as hell. If people do not cooperate with them, then how will the factories run on? And if the people are satisfied by this arrangement, then what will the communists do? Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami.
Thank you, Rancho Prabhu. Yeah. From this we can see that, in the Varnasrama College constitution for another specific project, there would be different quotes that go to the core of the purpose of the Varnasrama College. And now let's just be open to see what is part of this constitution. And there's some quotes that Nimai posted.
Not quotes. These are from the WhatsApp, the distinction
Ah,
between rural community and Varnasrama College. Maybe we could discuss that to see what is the mission statement. Like the quotes are kind of his mission statement, Nityananda Prabhu's.
okay. So you just posted the distinction that you had shared in WhatsApp as a response to my question. Yeah, what are these different types of community projects that Srila Prabhupada would like to see? One is the rural community project focused on self-sufficiency, may or may not have a formal Varnasrama College component, but it could just be preaching by example. It would generally be far removed from city modern world, so travel, exposure, etc. would be limited to the outside world, so it gets limited opportunity. Constituents would be non-teaching mode by large. Principle will be use local materials, simple basic lifestyle, financial system to be largely bartering among community members, children sheltered from the outside world. That's
That it seemed to me was the core. Children sheltering, and also because he was saying people who are not preaching, they should live on the farms, especially women and children. So basically, Grihastha devotees who are not preaching or actively engaged. And his idea was also to create these farms, communities, which can act as an example for how the civilization should live. It was like completely reorganize the way people live. So anyone else has wants to share what Srila Prabhupada wishes with rural farm community? Compared to the Varnashram College, yeah. Tattvadarshina Prabhu, you want to input, or Hari Kirtan Prabhu or Ramananda Prabhu? Okay. Okay, I think we can, so that is, I think this is the core. You want to go forward, Prabhu? Prabhu?
Well, I think this is a very important point you're bringing up, and maybe we're not discussing it today, though I see there's a good reason to circle more around what is the rural farm community project, as I would not see it as that extreme from my realization and my understanding. I would like to dig deeper in what has Srila Prabhupada said exactly. Is it really so far away from the city and the modern world? It sounds a little bit like an Amish community, like not so much technology, etc. And Srila Prabhupada specifically, he scolded Nityananda Prabhu at one point when he was visiting, I think it was New Talavan, I'm not certain, where he saw the tractors exposed to the rain, and he also he spoke about we're not against the machines. So is it really that these farm communities need to be so far away? That is one question I have. And then use local materials, yeah, as far as possible, I would say, or financial system, you're right, to be largely bartering. Yeah, I can imagine that is like the end goal, and it's not very feasible in the beginning. Hari Kirtan Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. I just in regards to this this question, the impression that I have gathered from various things that Srila Prabhupada has said is that the understanding, the focus of the community is not economic development. The focus of the community is to provide a space to facilitate Krishna consciousness, to facilitate, to create an environment to facilitate the ability of the members of the community to advance in their Krishna consciousness. This is kind of creating an environment where the milk can be boiled, so to speak. Where those devotees can really focus on studying and practicing and raising their families. It's a harmonious environment. So, and I'm kind of extrapolating from statements that we've all heard in different places about using the technology that is available. So for preaching and but we are not going to waste our energy in making the technology. There's the example of the ceiling fan. Somebody has spent so many years or hours or whatever it is to make this, and we'll use it. So Srila Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta, and they have made these various comments about technology that we're not going to waste our time trying to develop it ourselves, but we'll go ahead and use it. The airplane, like that. But then Srila Prabhupada has also had comments about that. Okay, you have a tractor, and because of the use of the tractor, now that has facilitated, or that has created an environment where it is an economic necessity, is almost how he described it, to kill the bulls, because you can look at modern farmers, and not that the devotees would do this, but he was just kind of explaining or highlighting the mindset of the materialistic farmers, that they have cows, but the bulls are doing nothing. They have tractors, and so of course the bulls will be slaughtered because of this. And then also he comments on how the tractor can do the work of 100 men. Now what will those 100 men do? So kind of thinking along these lines, that okay, technology is not necessarily something that we would or that he would tell us not to use, but the consequence of using that technology, how does that impact the community? How does that impact the lives of the devotees, or the structure of the society? It's not, that has to be considered very carefully. So this is kind of the lines along how I tend to think about things in regards to these communities. If you have tractors, then the expectation is that, okay, we have the ability to cultivate so much land, so now we must do that. And then you have all these idle people sitting around, and Srila Prabhupada has made comments about being idle and how that is not that's not a beneficial thing. That leads to Maya will find a way to engage you if you're not engaged. So I think these kind of thinking about it in these terms helps to give some guidance on, okay, well, what level of technology, what is useful, what is not, what should be avoided. So kind of along those lines is where my thoughts sit in this subject.
Yeah, so that is like when he is saying the snake is utilizing the mouse hole, right? And yeah, not over endeavoring for creating the tech, but utilizing what's there. And then at the same time, the Kshatriya's duty is to see that everyone is engaged, that there's full engagement. And what am I creating if I buy these huge machines? And like I was recently thinking, I buy a wood splitter because the wood that we have for heating, it's often too large for the oven, for the fireplace. And then I was thinking again, no, it's so healthy for the boys to use the axe and to split them. Yeah, they get stronger, they are engaged, and yeah, it's a different experience. There's a different impact and effect that has. Now I wonder what is the higher principle here. I would say higher principle is full engagement. That is more important than utilize what you have. That's what I get from what you share. So might be our part to figure out what are the different principles and which principles are higher.
Well, this is an interesting, discussion that so recently some article comes up on the computer and about different technology and this and that. And so someone is saying, oh, with the advent of AI now, so many things will be done automatically, and we will all just have time for leisure, and we'll sit around and do whatever we want. We're moving into a new age. And this is, I find, hilarious, because this is the line that was pitched back in the 50s with all of the household appliances, the dishwasher and the washing machine and all these things, that all of these machines, the vacuum cleaner, they will do all these things and you'll have more time for leisure. And the reality is in this material world is that we always have to be engaged, we always have to work. And the reality of the economies and doing things is that you will never be allowed to just sit idle. You have to, if you're sitting idle, then it's just nothing works that way. So increasing, like taking up the use of new technologies, more advanced technologies, things that multiply your ability to do things, very Rajagun. It doesn't lead to, we can practically see, less energy expended, doesn't lead to more time, more free time. It just entangles us further into more and more systems, more and more, network of things. We can see now that, it becomes impossible, the washing machine breaks, then it's like everything grinds to a halt because no one has clean clothes, and we can wash by hand if we have to. It's, hey, maybe not as pleasant, maybe not, the environment is not great, but same thing you were saying about the wood, you get used to a wood splitter, and then the wood splitter breaks. How much time do you spend fixing it? Or do you just split it by hand, So it's interesting. And I think that thinking about the management or the leaders of the community, they have to think very carefully about what technology will be accepted, what they should use, and talk with the community. I think everyone in the community should be involved in a discussion, like,
Is that-
what should be brought in.
Yeah, sorry. So
No, go ahead, Prabhu.
I just want to add a point for Harkat Prabhu's discussion, like what he was mentioning, like the advanced technology keeps people make workless. That is what, like the recent interview with Elon Musk and Nikhil Kamath. So what Elon Musk was mentioning was like, in nearby 20 years, so there won't be any work for people. Work will be like option. So how people will get the food? So he said, like, the in a gist, I'm just telling, like he said, like the energy which is present from the solar energy and the galaxies in the space, whatever is there, he wants to bring that and bond it with the AI robots, and the AI robots will work for you at free of cost, and people don't have to work anything, and there's no value for the money will not exist anymore. This is what he was telling. So I was just checking, like what are the what exactly, like Harikata Prabhu was telling, right? So that everyone is supposed to work. So I found, I was just checking from Bhagavad Gita point of view, is it really possible for a human, whether he can do without work, he can stay? And Elon Musk even added that, if people want to work, it will be just optional, and they can do some small, no, like a hobby. You can just grow your own vegetables or farming, like that. So from Bhagavad Gita point of view, I'll just read this one was from 14.18. Bhagavad Gita 14 point, not 14.3.5. So everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that, we can't just keep quiet like that idle. So in case if you are being idle, so 14.18 says, those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live in the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance, that is, who are, uh, without work, so go down to the hellish worlds. So if, as what he said, like, bringing more AI robots and technology, people will become demons. They go to the hellish world, the empty minds. So I just want to add this point what Prabhu was telling.
Thank
So
you, Rancho,
this
for
Varnashram
sharing that.
College or Varnashram projects really means a lot for this generation, and is really helpful actually.
Yeah, creating a shelter for the future. I think Pradyumna wanted to reply directly to that.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, bro. Bro, I'm just want to ask one question. So, Nimai, bro, first you want to say something about that, or shall I put the question?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, just like, bro, I'm just hearing that, that we have to, Hari Kirtan Prabhu was saying that we have to do all the things with hands, and technology, tractors, and all that. So both things we have to balance, just like there are no people in condition, there are very few people. So if all are engaged in that thing, mm, then it will be very difficult to manage all the things. Therefore, the number of devotees, that is very important. So let's say if are very few, 5 members are there in a community, and then farming is there, then if they do like, we do not use tractor at that time, then the other services will be interrupted. So we have to see the things that number of devotees. And in different situation we have to see, just like we are not like modernist also, and we are not like that na, we will not use anything tractor, or in certain cases you have to use tractor also when there is no devotees, or how to understand. And one more thing, Srila Prabhupada, is that we are not after number of, no, we are not after number. If you, even if only two devotees are there, but in farm community that cannot be applied.
Hmm. So you're saying, yeah, it's not black and white. And yeah, I don't get that Harikirtan Prabhu is saying, yeah, we should all just work with our hands only. And I get you're saying, yeah, we should carefully judge on an individual base when to do what. And yeah, are you saying at the end that we need more people on a farm? On the farm, we need more hands?
Yeah, but just like farm community na, when, because farm community is big, there are many activities, services other than devotional activities outside also, self-sufficiency and all these things. So for that we require a number of devotees, because for just like for a center na, two devotee can, that they can be there and they
Mhm.
can take help from others. But for in farm community, just like we require number of devotees. Then after that constitution, what work, what will you do, that can be perfectly done if are very few, just like if we make the constitution in the starting and there are very few devotees only, then services are to be changed, I have to do more things. Then I cannot say, oh no Prabhu, in that constitution it is written that I will do only that work only, I will not do that. Then again problem. So then
Yeah.
number, then after the constitution will work.
Uh-huh. Yeah, more hands are needed, more labor is needed. And yeah, actually here in this constitution, we can see that the problem there is just how it starts also, because it's written in a way where, yeah, it works with enough community members. But in the beginning stage, how to apply it, how to apply the Brahmana council. I'm wondering. I can imagine Nimai Prabhu has many thoughts on this. We had discussed a lot about using machines on Gopal farm. In the beginning, there were no machines, and some people said we need the machines, and then yeah, there was discussion and careful judgment of how big shall the machines are. Is it a huge tractor? Is it a two-wheel tractor, or does it need to be at least a small excavator that can be used for the very heavy lifting?
Yeah, Nimai, prove one more thing. I don't know how that na Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj he is doing. I think there is no light and no these kind of things. So how he's managing, and how we should proceed to do that.
Yeah, Kurmakshetra.
So this, we went through this earlier in a discussion, maybe 4 weeks back, 5 weeks back. We had two discussions. One was when Hari Kirtan Prabhu's wonderful father, Hari Bolananda Prabhu, came and gave a whole understanding discussion and his explanation of what a rural community is. And then the next week, I gave the whole presentation on the Varnasrama. The first part was the difficulties in trying to get to a rural community vision, which Srila Prabhupada is giving, especially, and also we read in this constitution the first two paras, and these are the some of those problems. How will the capital come? This every endeavor requires land, capital, organization, and labor. Just as in business, one requires a place to stay, some capital to use, some labor, and some organization to expand. So the same is required in the service of Krishna. And based on that, I had extrapolated that Srila Prabhupada's this instruction of having a rural community, it's not something which we are capable and qualified to do, and from all these many different angles, we should first do the Varnasrama College and build towards this. It could be a generational effect, a couple of generation it may take. And this one was these were some of the things. Where will the capital cost come? It's a lot of capital, machinery, initial machinery, vehicles, interest, because you have to build so many buildings, so much land work. It's not possible to do with just hand, or even bullock carts or oxen. It's just not possible. Where people are not trained, and they are not. It's not even possible to do. You know. So, and we can go in details. And what about devotee entertainment, live audience? I mean, so much of infrastructure is required to build, like healthcare costs. A whole healthcare need is required in the rural community. I mean, how will people live healthily? I mean, the knowledge itself is not existing in the US, Western countries. Even in India, it's tough because Ayurveda, I'm really integrated in the Ayurveda community in the US, and it's just not there. That's why I'm trying to put together this whole health collective here on our farms to bring MD, the doctors and the Ayurveda people, and have Ayurveda college and this college to teach medical doctors to learn Ayurveda and take it forward on our farms. And it's like a whole project. It's like a huge endeavor to try to get a medical science which can be practiced from the farm. Otherwise devotees, as they become older, they have to go to the hospitals, and then where they are living. I mean, they could be living in a rural community, but they start living in a nursing home, in a hospital, or have very difficult life, just physically. So, and cow protection, we don't have all the research done on how to utilize cows and oxen and everything. It's great to say let us utilize oxen, but how? Where are even the implements in the US to put it together? I mean, really scientifically, so it's very efficient, with all the implements which are required in the West. I mean, it's. I've gone to. I mean, finally figured out the person in among the Amish community who could adjust these implements, efficient implements to do weeding, sowing, digging, all these things, for which, because they have them but with horses, so they need some adjustment and a few others. But those are also specialized equipment. It's like, so you have to do that, and then oxen have to be trained, people have to be trained. It's not possible to just suddenly start some rural community and expect that everything will just somehow magically fall in place. It's like a whole 200 300 years the civilization has built up on alternative civilization. And so what we are talking about is replacing that, showing people, see, you can live like this too. It's not like, I mean, what I understand, Srila Prabhupada was like giving a taste of it, with his other instructions. And practically, when I went there and started doing it over last 15 16 years, now I understand so clearly that this is how stepping stone, so many things we have to put together to get to it. So like this, how will the operating cost come? How will the income for residents come? Income meaning right now, so much cash is required. It is easy to say we should get into barter system and everything, but so much cash is required still. Like healthcare, right now, a family needs about couple of $1,000 per month for healthcare if they are earning. Even if they go on to Medicare, there are co-pays, so many other expenses are there. I mean, and then one is into this medical system. What about herbal? Then they are not covered by insurance things and supplements and so many things. My God, and phone, and I mean, you need the phone and internet and electricity and computer and everything to just to able to communicate. The other like before, there used to be phone booths. Now they are not even there. I mean, where are you going to call people out? So much cash we need right now. Car, if you need a vehicle, you need insurance, all that cash you can't barter it. I mean, it's like you need income for residents. How will the income come if you go away from the population centers? I mean, so all that knowledge, it just like magically doesn't appear. You need like to learn, people need to learn how to create money, which is sattvic. It requires like like training and experience and knowledge, and it's like a whole world comes in, the material world comes into the picture, and then the children, they see so much struggle even for small basic things, and then they don't want to do something like that. And so it's like I can't, it's like so many things we need to put together, especially the devotees, the core leaders. How will their heart become purified? I mean, to purify, the best thing is Sankirtan. No? I mean, there is no other better engagement and no other better purification possible in this Kali Yuga. And Lord, we are in Lord Chaitanya's relation. So that is the prime most factor in any of these talks. How, like regularly, the whole community should be oriented towards it. Otherwise, purification is difficult to get. And if the core leaders are not purified, and they are not making more core leaders purified so that they can themselves go and start a new community, we just become stagnant, like just living, eating, sleeping, waiting, defending, and also having Krishna. It's like you could have that in Vrindavan. People are already purified enough. But in a West where devotees are coming from all kinds of backgrounds and all kinds of past habits, what generally would happen, and I've seen it practically, and we can see through the past history, that people, when they go into rural community, their their tendency to the sins, since that thought, all these thoughts are not removed, they become more like, it comes out like a new Vrindavan and many of these communities. And like, and Nityananda Prabhu will talk about it. This is like the issues which he was facing also, even in New Jaipur too. The sex desire, all these things were present, and the intoxication, all these things come into the picture. So it's not like just easy to say that we live very nicely. I mean, easy meaning not that, I mean, devotees are, it is a great aspiration to have, because we need to create a alternative to the capitalistic Ugra Karma society. But it is not easy to achieve it. But we need to do it. There is no way around it. I mean, this is not a society which promotes good consciousness, and it's just a destructive society all around, to planet, to people, to animals, to everybody. But to get to it is a lot of grind to get to it. And Srila Prabhupada has given us how to do it. He has given us the template. You train people how to do it. It's a Varrnasrama College. First you train. And that's why I have started to focus more and more on Varrnasrama colleges. So um, in a rural farm, nearby to the population centers, big population centers. So there's easy to do Sankirtan, preaching, activities, all these things, plus to develop monetary interactions and keep in touch, like really be like they're like temples, but in a little rural area next to the big cities, so that the other classes all can also be there to show example and be trained, and like preaching centers there, you know. Yes, so
Prabhu,
yeah, but we went through this in previous thing, and there is a recording of it. If somebody hasn't gone through, we went through in detail on this, and I think it needs to be discussed again and again to really get to the like essence of the whole thing. That yes, I would like that everyone is convinced on it. Otherwise, there is no point in proceeding it in constitution and in other activities. Or if I'm wrong in this area or any other area, let's discuss these things now. Yes.
Mhm. So then we need something like we discussed in the beginning, we need something like a declaration of Varnasrama Dharma, where we have the basic points that we agree on, or maybe there's a difference between those two basic projects that you're referring to. I see Tattvadarshana has the hand up. I have a couple of questions burning too, and Pradyumna wants to say something. I get we are getting started here. Tattvadarshana Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada.
Sorry.
Actually, I was not in there before discussion, but the one question which I think Pradyumna Prabhu asked whether we can use machineries or tractors in our farms. So I think like that Prabhupada never opposed of using the machineries, because just I want to share one thing. So in the Gita Nagari farm, so there was one older devotee named Paramananda Prabhu. Almost he was alone doing farming there in that, and he was producing lot of grains and all those things. And here like older devotees who are here in the farm, so they told Prabhupada used to call him as a Farmananda. And like when he was using those tractors, when no one was there, like Prabhupada didn't oppose it, so we can use. Just like now some went to too extreme now. Like, yeah, actually, Prabhupada wanted more simple way. So right now, just like Nimai Pandit Prabhu was also telling, like in America and all, who is gonna teach how to use the bulls and all these things? So we don't have that facility. If some devotees know these skills and everything, so we can set up and training center, like how to use the bulls, how to take care of cows, how to make our own houses, self-independent. This all be very nice, but now we are not on the stage, like everything we know by ourselves or devotees known to them. So whatever best we can do, we should try to do, remaining in our mind. So what pleases to our spiritual master. We want a very simple life, just like one letter also wrote to Mahamsa Prabhu. We should grow our own, our first thing is grain, vegetables, fruits, milk, cloth. So these things are the basic necessities to live. So we are trying our best to grow these things. So then economic problem almost slowly solved. So this is what my understanding, or like which I heard from the older devotees. Just like some like Prabhupada, one letter also, like one devotee was asking, can we use electricity in the farms or in the temples? Maybe in that, I mean, maybe in the farms, like that they were asking. Prabhupada was telling, I have no objection to use, but we should not depend on electricity, like that. He wrote a one letter. Main thing is, just as you also told Bharat Prabhu, it's depend upon the individual, like no, like how they are, what their circumstances, their country. Because now Prabhupada also told, but nowadays different countries have different sets of rules and regulation. So and Prabhupada also told we have to follow the law of the land. So we can't escape. So we have to see so many things. Even like I think I also heard that in Germany and somewhere where you are living, so that children has to send for schooling for sure. But like Prabhupada told, it is a slaughterhouse education. But what we are forced to do. So this we all have to very think what is the best we can do.
Yeah, time and circumstances, as always, the unique conditions we need to consider, and yeah.
So I also heard, like, do you also have some farmland in the where you are living in Germany or Spain?
Well, we live in Portugal now, and yeah, we do have some farmland. We don't own it. We have different properties on which we farm, and yeah, we are far away from self-sufficiency, but we have fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, yeah, every day, and we have abundance of food. I'm very happy and grateful for our situation, and I also see that yeah, a lot of what Nima Prabhu, what you just shared, the couple of thousands in healthcare. Recently, by accident, we were my boys and I engaging in a kind of a mock fight, like 10 years ago when they were small. You remember, Nima? Yeah. Then you engaged in mock fights with them, and yeah, they still like that. And Gopal, we moved in some way where Gopal hit my nose like here, and it was making crack, 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 and blood was coming out, and he was shocked, and yeah, we were thinking the nose is broken, and yeah, then I was thinking maybe I need to see a doctor, and I was so grateful, thinking I haven't seen a doctor from the normal system for many, many years. And my kids, I said to said to Gopal, it's such a blessing. Never something has happened to them, but we are not paying for any insurance, and we are basically paying not much for health besides getting some supplements, getting uh, getting getting things to prevent to prevent any diseases. And I was meditating about what do we do if something is happening, something huge, because the hospitals here, they are uh, not very famous for good labor, like the opposite. And we do have people here in the community that are healer. So I utilize their expertise, and I also invest into machines that help for health. But basic thing is to just live a healthy life, and then to accept whatever happens. But if something breaks or so, we need a mechanic, a doctor who knows what he's doing. But yeah, generally, I want to challenge the conclusion, Nimai Prabhu, that you brought, that it's not possible. I get we are not qualified, and I I also understand you're saying we should first do the Varnasrama College, and I don't think it needs to be an either or. Like what you are doing, in many regards, I'm wondering, isn't it a hybrid approach of you're creating the whole infrastructure for the rural farm community, and then on top the you build the Varnasrama College, and you are about to teach people how to make the income, and you are supporting so that people understand, yeah, do not need much income. And yeah, I'm wondering how much self-sufficiency you're aiming for at all in, and how you see the stages of development for Gopal Farm, or the different Gopal Farm projects that you have specifically.
So I'm not thinking of self-sufficiency at all, because in a temple you don't think about self-sufficiency. I'm thinking just like because Srila Prabhupada says now we should what is that? Now he should convert. He says this. The Varnasrama College has to be established immediately, everywhere. Wherever we have got our center, a Varnasrama College should be established to train for divisions. Of course, he has given many, many more instructions of Varnasrama College, but he says wherever we have got our center. And substantiating it, Padmagarbha Prabhu told me that either he was present in a conversation or something. Srila Prabhu says, each temple you put a board there saying Varnashram College, which matches the same instruction. And from his consciousness, I'm trying to understand the same thing, that this is a temple expansion of the temple vision which Srila Prabhupada had, which he
Yeah.
established. So in a temple, one is not thinking of self-sufficiency. So this is the Varnasrama means self-sufficiency. But we are thinking of developing a research and teaching institute. So R&D.
So I get that is your goal, the focus, the vision to go towards that, yeah, teaching institution.
Use
And
everything
then
whatever is
when
there. Use everything whatever is there to quickly, most efficiently, like effectively get the infrastructure, everything
uh-huh.
for an alternative civilization which would come, but it needs
Yeah.
like proper foundation.
Yes, yeah.
Prabhu, yeah, bro. I want to ask, bro, Nimai, bro. Just like I have heard this Varnashram College from you, and that Hare Krishna community also. That was also you have you have started that, na? So I'm asking that many places, many farm communities, many temples, they do not have this concept Varnashram. Varnashram that college. So they will not be successful or what? How to see that? First, we have to establish this thing.
I mean, Srila Prabhupada, when he established the temple, he did for training Brahmins only, Brahminical culture. Anyone else cannot live there. That's how he did it. And he says that explicitly, that first is Brahmin, so I'm training that. Then he is saying, I want to now expand it. Wherever center is, now it should be everywhere Varnasrama College should be established, which is to train other classes too. Even the Brahmana training in more occupations, not just in preaching occupation. So everything has to be expanded where he didn't implement it. Now, the temples, if they keep preaching only, just like how he did, without understanding is more indication as you go forward in the future, which is like most of Bhagavad Gita is about the four modes, the three modes and the four varnas. Bhagavad, I mean, everywhere his instructions are like that. So that part you don't do. So you just keep doing this. So that's how it will be limited effectiveness. Most of the people will not be able to utilize, and then without the combined effort it is always going to be very ineffective. No, preaching to the wider people is only very, very, very narrow people you are able to really access in preaching.
So you see basically the Varnashram College as a temple at a rural location, but actually rural, quote unquote, of close to the colleges, like where you can reach youth and where you can preach effectively.
Basically, you need a place to test, research, and teach. So
Test? What do you
test all
mean?
these things. Test all these things. No.
You mean like a prototype community to
Prototype, not, I mean, let's not talk even about community.
prototype
Big thing
college?
to do a community. Each person has to, each devotee in the community.
Practice.
Yeah, I mean, when you say community, community means people, right? People means each person's spiritual training, social training, their Varna training, their sub-Varna, all the Jati Dharma, Kula Dharma training and or establishing, their whole financial, occupational, everything, all have to come together, no? Like all these training, without these training, how will people even just land up on a community? It can't.
Hmm.
It just
Okay, so you want to give the playground for practicing the Varnashram, like what they learn from Varnashram College, to put
Prabhupada
them.
doesn't say it practicing, he calls it a college. It's a teaching, and college, when you go, colleges are always more of research. This is going to be a research and teaching college.
So why do you establish then for yourself those why do you have all the land? Why do you have the cows and the facilities that are going into that direction? And I mean, especially now the health Ayurveda um, hub is coming up there.
Sure. So the thing is that if you go in any let's say agriculture college, I'm giving example, or any other college, they have these research hubs where you need a place to do research for professors, teachers, students all together. And they need people to research it with, on them. Like
Hmm.
you need like a play. So we are researching Brahman. Basically we have to be land based. Srila Prabhupada says that when I will show you how to live in a Varnashram community. I will sit down on the land tightly, something like that. He says on Gita in Gita Nagari, and then show you.
Yeah.
Everything has to be land based. Like that's the core land. So Brahmana he has to learn all the things around land. Kshatriya has to learn around land, Vaishya has to learn around land, and all this. So all these training things have to be focused on land related activities, Vaishya activities, land based. We're not trying to teach like though other businesses which are not land based somehow, So that's the alternative civilization that we want to establish. Non land based is not a civilization, no? Then it is
Hmm.
something else, like in the city people are living already. We don't want to do that. But land based means you need like so many activities happen on the land. Agriculture is one, of course, but then Brahmana also, he is there on the land, he gets some portion of the land income somehow so that he could like survive. So how can his occupation and his thing be related to the land? We have to test it, research it. That's what we have been discussing, agraharam, how to actually they can how can they get income from the land so that they can survive. It's like may not be exactly on the land, exactly like farming, but maybe some other way. We have to all these things have to be researched.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So you see, there's a period of research needed before a new system is being established, and then
I mean,
and
just
then there
just
can
look
be
at,
focus on farm communities.
yeah, so just look at how much research goes on in institutions currently. How much? Billions and billions and billions of dollars in researching, in making this kind of civilization that we see right now. Don't you see we
Yeah.
to do at least like a fraction of income and focus and everything to research back to like how to live like that? Maybe I can show, just give a basic thing of what the research could involve. In my focus right now is, or last 15-17 years has been these two research, because I saw I could do something like that, and they are the core issues. Um, so this model for cow protection, right? Now, how
Mm-hmm.
does this work financially? Because the
Mm. Yeah.
the farmers, the dairy farmers, they need to be able to live, no?
I remember when we were in Long Island long time ago, maybe 2013, 2014, I don't know. You call it economics. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So they have to be able to live financially properly, you know. Otherwise, why would it has been given to Vaishyas, Krishi, Goraksha, Vanijam. Krishna has given these to Vaishyas to do. So Vaishyas meaning they have to earn from it. Otherwise, they won't be able to protect even if they want to, which is the case now. Even in India, so many people want to protect, but they are not able to protect because there is no money coming in for them. I've done that in India and I know exactly these issues, what are they facing. One farmer told me, I told him, do you know how you are giving this male calf, you're leaving in this jungle, you know the Muslims come and take it for killing. He says what to do, whether I should feed my son or I should feed this calf.
Hmm.
So it's not a question of just I will get donation and all these things, but the farmer doesn't get donation. He doesn't go around asking for donation. That's not his duty. He needs to make money from it. How will the money come if right now the dairies find it so difficult? Even I mean devotees, when they get a cow, then they start multiplying. They don't know what to do. Land, so many things are just not compatible with this with the current civilization. They need to put money into taking care of the cows, not the cows giving them money to be able to be have an occupation like that. So we need to create a dairying connected to everything which is profitable, which we can show, and that becomes a teaching model then for attracting people all around, like thinkers, the leading thinkers of the policymakers, educators, academia, come and see, yeah, this works. And then we have to show how to make money out of it. Money meaning it can be barter system later on in rural area, that's fine. But wealth has to be generated, no? Whichever form it takes, that's okay. Wealth needs to be generated from it. It has to be a sustainable, ethical way of doing it. So we have so many things are required, research is required in it, like calves, what to do. See, like this is our what is ethical dairy. Okay. So calves suckle on mother's teats till 6 months old. Now this thing, this itself needs research. How to do this exactly? When does the calf like if the calf is there on with her all the time? Like, these are formal research being done right now in different universities. Money is being put into trying to research whether every 1 month old one can remove, because they remove it first day itself and then bottle feed right now. So we have only data for that. The data for doing research on when exactly the cows, the meaning why data is required is so that one can teach it. Otherwise it is just like quackery, like, oh, it
Yeah,
is like that, like this.
you need a reference. Yeah,
It can't be a credible college, Varnasrama,
yeah.
if you don't have data to back it up. Data
Uh-huh.
is data and proper understand, proper knowledge based, pratyaksha praman. These are all pratyaksha praman. You have to show direct perceptible properly this thing that 6 month old, how we remove, our policy right now is 4 month onwards we start reducing weaning, and we reduce it by one day a week, one time a day, sorry, one time a day on the 5th month onwards, and 6th month we do once every 2 days, and then nothing after 6 months.
Yeah.
And but why we are doing it based on the principle? Because each breed is different too. So, and each person is different too. Cow is different. Sometimes the calves don't need it, or maybe they need more. So all that has to be based on data. Otherwise, it will not be efficient, and hence, there are problems. Like now, what happens is the calf is going. If the calves have not suckled on the mother's teats, then they suckle on other calves' teats or something on their body, and they damage because they need suckling. Poor people, poor these calves, they are not given this, and they damage. Now we have to test this thing whether after 3 months, 4 months of I mean, it keeps happening or not. If it is happening, then what is the problem? So
So empiric research, you're saying, yeah, it's needed.
yeah, how will people, how will intelligent young people get faith in this activity if they don't have this kind of database
Yeah.
created? Everything, newborn comes separate from others. What happens? I mean, of course, we are not separating them, but so how do we do it? How much is the milk production goes down, more, less? This is
Uh-huh.
we are not even if we don't. I mean, we if we don't do, other people are already doing because there is a pressure coming from the society. So money is being put. So why don't we, knowing how much Krishna wants it, Krishna will give more intelligence. We can do a much better job with it. And I'm already seeing us doing it. We are getting better because I'm talking to different people, like in, let's say, in Cornell, and they'll say, oh my God, this is good. This is wonderful. We can do research. Like, we know better than them because they don't have direction on how to do it. Like, the reference points are not
Mm.
there. They are doing like this, here, there research, but they are doing it already. If we can, do it like this research, like everything, I can go down list, everything is researchable like this. And I am trying to do research on it. I need people, more and more devotees, to do research, and otherwise we'll keep doing it. It takes time. So more and more on, like, diseases. Let's go herbal preparation using sickness. Disease related to intensive milk production, like mastitis, and we also got mastitis. So how did we cure it? Using herbal things. So we put like a whole paste of uh, turmeric, aloe vera, uh, like lime, and some lemon juice. I think that was about it. Right? Yes. So for 7 days on a teach, everyone told us, the vet and all the other, like our workers, everyone, "Hey, it's not going to work. You have to give her antibiotics." And we had to give because I didn't know at that time how to do it. And the massage, she was so much in pain, and this thing, that thing, and it caused more problems. And I said, nothing doing. I'm not doing any of these things. I will go back to, I will research how it was being done before. And we started doing this. I researched, talked to certain doctors, vets in India, and then figured out, okay, let's do this. And lo and behold, in a week, 10 days, it was getting better. And the vet is coming and saying, oh my God, this is so good. I could use this. Have you had any research done on this thing? I said, no, this is just
What
like,
did you do actually?
I mean, I'll tell you more, but so we were doing, so like that, so many other things are there in
Yeah.
just in dairy itself. There are so many aspects to be researched, documented. A science has to be created around it. Financial
So,
things, milk quality. I mean, every single part has to be ethically done to create a cow protection model, which can be ideal in the world, which Srila Prabhupada says. So how can you do it if you're living in rural areas? You need infrastructure, you use everything what you have available, whatever Krishna has created in the world, to achieve this purpose within a short time. Cows are being killed otherwise. I mean, why we have to be responsible to create something like this as quickly as we can, so that other people can utilize it as early as they can. You know, we don't want to be bogged down by philosophy, something else, when we know our goal is right there in front. Now, based on this, somebody could create a rural, like, it requires so many more things. Anyway, so many, a healthcare community which we are trying to create, same issues there too.
yeah, I want to leave space for Pradyumna also. I appreciate what you shared, and I'll um, get back to
Yeah,
what you said. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you, bro. Bro, Nimai, bro, then that means then, okay, that without Varnashram, sorry, college, their Varnashram college, there cannot be training, so it will be very difficult to, every time they will, every time hit and trial, they will do new things. So that means that without this Varnashram college, any community, that will be not be it will be like a failure in one ashram at least, because in temple there can be only brahmanas, they can, but in a farm community or any community, if there is no Varnashram college, then it will be, in long term, it will be a failure.
Yeah, I mean, it is so apparent, no? That is what is happening. No? That's why it's not considered so practical by people.
Uh-huh. Second thing, you just told that we have to generate wealth. Na? So wealth, just like in temple, in cities also, they are running so big temples, and order Lakshmi is coming. They will say that na, where their Krishna is served, like Harinam Sankirtan is there, money and all these things will automatically come. So how to see that na wealth can be generated there, and how to connect those two things, like.
But they are not doing cow protection, no? So how will they ever live in rural community?
Mhm. And this farm community and just like Varnashram College, that can be established only in rural area only, no? It cannot be in city or just near to city.
Near to city, Varnasrama College has to be near the city because you need interactions, a lot of interactions, you know, people, visitors, money, knowledge, law enforcement. So many things are required. The legal profession. I mean, every professional you need to make it work. And farther away means it's tougher, more tough to do it. This research.
Mhm.
I mean, we have to go into this research mode for maybe if there is no third world war, economic or something catastrophe happening, which pushes us into everybody into rural, and really everyone starts putting their energy focus there. Otherwise, it may take us a few generations to get all this research. It's not practically possible. You can see, even my generation, I don't think I'll be able to do all this research work on cow protection thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we could start a rural community without all the research done, definitely, because some you just understand you could do it. But the basic things have to be there, no? Some model has to be there, working model. Otherwise, how can one just go to the, like, you know?
Yeah. So Tattvadashina Prabhu is raising. Yeah. Yes, so Tattvadashina Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, my question is that na, if you want to protect the cows nicely, so one of the most important thing is grazing fields. So if you want to go near the city or in the city, it is, I think it is very impossible. So I think to have a healthy cows, so we need a grazing more land. So because I think that will be more reasonable and accessible in the village area than in the cities. So how we can do, because if we want to have that much big land in the cities or nearby cities, it will be very expensive. So how we can do that one?
So, see, this I went through this exact issue, and I realized that there is no way not to do it near cities because of so much advantage. Then I understood that we need large tract of land near cities, very costly. So once we logically come to know we need this, there is no way around it, then our attention comes into, okay, how do we get money to buy more land or access more land near cities? Then Krishna provides also we intelligence, resources, and we got Krishna provided land. You know, so it's not like anything is insurmountable for the Lord. He is Go Brahman Hitacha. He will provide as long as we know this is what is required for doing his mission. You know, and then we orient ourselves like that and open to Krishna's. I mean, if we don't even start to understand this fact, like really concretize in our consciousness, then Krishna is not suddenly going to do it. No, God helps those who help themselves. No? So it's like similarly in healthcare too. I want to show you. The healthcare. it's, I don't know about other countries, but in the Prabhu, Bharat Prabhu, you are on mute.
No,
Okay, you are good. Okay.
it's YouTube.
Okay.
There's a lag.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So this okay. So this healthcare, no, it's the biggest industry in the US. $1.4 trillion, trillion, not billion or million, trillion dollars is spent on it yearly. All over the US. This is like a huge, like everywhere, doctor, hospital, everything is about drugs. I mean, it's like that's the main focus, main issue. Elections are won or lost on this issue. It's not like India, even though there are so many diseases and everything, it's not like the whole so much. I mean, it's like this is the main thing, main industry, main like part of the society, current society. So to show an alternative, to live alternatively in rural areas simply without Ugra Karma, the healthcare system has to be like we have to show an alternative, no? Otherwise, how will people be attracted? Who will come? Like very few people would want to come, and they also would want to, in their minds, they will be dependent on the current healthcare system because they can't. There is nothing to take care. For young people, it is okay. But as people start becoming more and more older, 50, 55, it's and children and women in their, especially in pregnancy, delivery, and complication like that, or later on in years, I mean, which devotee doesn't go? Even in devotees who are living in rural healthcare, they go to these hospitals. In the US especially, it is like you go there, it's like 20, 30,000 per day in hospital, dollars, like too expensive. It's just impossible for someone to have somebody to have I mean, us to have any a rural community without a alternative healthcare credible, which we can like depend on with life, a healthcare system around us created. It's impossible, Prabhu. It's like not going to happen. It's not going to happen, or there will be people in the older age, then they leave the community and go to these wherever the more better hospitals are. It just will be like that. So I've been trying to develop this thing. So what now I'm trying to I mean, because so much research is required now. Like, what about arthritis? What about so many devotees have this arthritis, diabetes, practically almost or so many devotees have even cancer, even of course prevention is better than cure, but still you get some, people do get diseases too. So, of course, in prevention also one has to be educated on it. But that can be easily done with Ayurveda knowledge and understanding and growing herbs. That even the knowledge of growing herbs and all is a problem, because in US all those Indian herbs don't grow many of these places. You need to have knowledge about the Western herbs which are growing around here to know what which one does what. So I've been like trying to understand Ayurvedic knowledge as the base and then using that to develop more and more on top of it. So now we have like MD doctors and trying to build this community so that they could do the research work for us, which is bring the MD doctors and the Ayurvedic doctors together, giving them land here and all these things. I mean, they're paying for it. And so but we are providing the facilities so that they can come and do this research on using food, medicine, herbal medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, herbs, everything to and lifestyle knowledge of the thing and the modern allopathies like diagnostic and other and the licenses and everything to treat people and also to do research which can gradually become more and more authoritative, by which insurance companies could also insure them, insure these therapies. I mean, it's a huge project, and this is what I mean. It's I can't. I have to do this like long many years, hours goes into trying to build this whole model, both in here and in New York. Then practically every disease we have to go through: hypertension, high blood pressure, arthritis. What is this? This generated by eczema. Okay, maybe it is ischemic coronary heart disease, diabetes, chronic kidney, heart failure, depression. So all of these have to be developed scientifically with research like these papers published. These are all in scientific magazines, peer-reviewed papers. They have to be published, and by which gradually the alt healthcare system will form. And I'm meaning we can probably do another like discussion just on this alt healthcare system, how to develop that. So college, my thinking is these colleges which Srila Prabhupada is talking about, Varnasrama colleges, they have to be like the top line of the world, like the best research being done in the world on these topics is here, because we are Krishna's like soldiers. We have to be the best, no? Like best knowledge is available to us from the heart, and using that we develop resources, and they all get engaged in this service to Lord Chaitanya like this. All these wider society, and that kind of then attracts the leading intelligentsia academia of the world to this kind of ideal life. When Srila Prabhupada says, show them the ideal, that doesn't mean like just simple living. It means high thinking also simultaneously. So high thinking is like this: how to develop these I mean, people don't know how to do it. They want to do it. So let's show them, no, how to do this way, like properly do it. So that takes a lot of work and money, intelligence, working together. Main thing is working together and coming on the same vision and same focus, and really working with a lot of you know like humility, and because we can't work together if the Trinadapi Suni Chena Taroreva Sahishuna Manina Mandena is not happening. And if when that is working, then this all these things can be accomplished, because we are chanting Hare Krishna mantra. And with that, and Srila Prabhupada is our basis and his books, we can accomplish all these things. Without that, we will not be able to.
Prabhu, yeah, very curious. So, with that enough devotee morning, evening sadhana, daytime work, how will we cope up with that community? This Varnashram College. So, I have never heard and thought about it. So, just like Varnashram College is also there in that, na. So, how the schedule will be and how they will adjust the things. So, teachers will be separate, or like how to? I cannot imagine.
I mean, Srila Prabhupada was asked this question. I mean, it's easy, no? I mean, even if if Srila Prabhupada was not asked anything, no oral, nothing is available. Still, his books are there, and books are explaining all these things in as principles. So he has given, no, and let's go through the books itself: Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So Brahmanas teachers, they have to show by example how to live a sattvic life. Kshatriyas also more or less have to do the same thing. And Vaishyas, some of them will be, some of them not, but they are inspirational. They are with the inspiration of these higher castes, then they will also, classes, they will also become inspired. Shudras are not expected, but some of them may gradually come. So we have to be very open to all of this thinking, that, be compassionate to everyone, bring everybody gradually together. But people who are Brahmins, they are expected. Otherwise, they are not Brahmins. No, they are struggling Brahmin. They can't be respected so much, because they are passion and ignorance will be mixed with their advices and their actions and teaching. So the respect would all like simultaneously go down by actual Brahmin devotees.
Yeah, bro. So one more thing I just come in my mind, just like you told that the base one thing is that Tarnadapi, if together they live with nicely, with love and faith, all these things, then so the Tarnadapi is simply what is that na Kirtaniya he will be always able to chant very nicely. So basic thing is the basics na, just like if one is doing very nicely chanting and his goal is just like a spiritual life, what that a spiritual master has, then all the things will automatically adjust. They will achieve whatever they want. Hmm? Got it?
It's a big thing, no? This is the biggest thing, no? Trinadapi Sunichena. It's like among after all these things, the goal is to that. But more and more we can practice it among devotees.
Yeah, bro, just
Faster to do it.
yeah, but just my only I don't know. My only always my concern was that chanting should be very good. Always from the right beginning, I only focus on chanting only. Other thing I okay let so for that I have to be very Tarnadapi also. I have to go to center also. Even if some problem, I have to attend the things and Mangala Aarti also. Then I will be clean. Then I have to hear Bhagavatam also by hearing. Na? So then it will give help to. And if I do all services, then the heart will be clean. The chanting will be good. So how to see like that?
We're talking of Varnasrama College. So, I mean, of course, this is the most important teaching, and devotees like you can teach us how to chant attentively, respectfully, so by example, and commit giving courses, what explaining to devotees what Srila Prabhupada has told also, like that Ishtagoshti format, understanding, inspiring everyone. But also the Kshatriyas and Brahmana, they have to figure out a way to engage the senses of everybody, so that the senses are also, I mean, engaged and controlled and purified, so that next morning, the chanting is peaceful, like peacefully performed in peaceful mind. Otherwise, the mind will disturb if they have not been engaged and purified. So it's their duty to do it. So I think we went into so many other things, but your constitution is still we didn't go through.
Yeah. It makes sense to stay on topic usually, and if there's something essential like this, I think it's very valid um, to look at. Yeah, as you said, if we are not all agreeing on this, then where's the sense on continuing to talk? Anyway, let's get back to being convinced. I get that is your motto here. Like, how convinced are we of Varnasrama College near the cities? I see your point there. Still, I'm not fully convinced. I I do see there are a lot of advantages in rural living, and I agree to all points that you say about healthcare and finances, and still I wonder when you say main thing is to work together, then does it need to be centralized? Yeah, like I'm thinking of Ramananda Prabhu. There, yeah, so many experiences. The Archibald clan is making there, yeah, with what they do. I think also similar questions that we had. How about making a yoke and I think they made a yolk, and all these questions, churning milk. It's are we not all somehow some research centers then putting it into a database together, making it scientific? I love that approach that you have there, and also shooting for the rhino like an institution that I can see as like there's the Harvard of Vedic science, and people will look up to it in 50 years. It's like, wow, it's an institution where you can look for help in any area of life to give credibility again to the Vedas, and applying them, how they are superior. Otherwise, how do you convince people in even the easiest matters of life to change their way of life? I'm thinking of when you told us, yeah, you can drink the milk. When I said I'm allergic against milk, so I don't give milk to the kids, and you were like, you have to give milk to the children. It's so important. And then you told me about, yeah, you need to boil it, and you let the bubbles come up 3 times. You let them rise. You put it from the stove. You boil it with the herbs. I was like, okay, I'll try it. And I remember also you shared from research with some doctors, Ayurveda doctors, that gave a quote from Shastra that the milk right from the udder is like nectar in the first 20 minutes or so. Oh no, yeah, like as long as it's warm. So that is something I would like to quote to people, but where is the reference? And then where is the empiric study, and then peer-reviewed studies? That is something which will help tremendously. And I do see where we live, there are not so many people, and there's a lot of help, government funds for all kinds of rural things. They and research centers here. There are research centers for all kinds of traditional things. Like I will get money if I restaurate old old wells where the oxen pull up the water with some mechanical system. The people here, they still have that, but these systems, they are kind of broken. So my mind is going a lot into that direction. How can cows be economical? Here it can be, we can have an ice cream car, and we use the milk for ice cream. We make the ghee, we medicinate the ghee, and we sell ghee as a medicine. We can have the cow dung incense and
All of
things.
this is great. I'm just going to cut to the chase. My point is to you, when you want to make a community, see, living alone like this is great, excellent, because Srila Prabhupada wants it and you're showing it. That is excellent. But what we are talking about is a community development.
Yeah,
When one more family comes into the picture, whether they are going to come, why they are going to come, and to build a community. So that is where all of these issues come up.
well, yeah, and I see examples here where it's working. I see there are so many communities here in Portugal, rural communities. Then it's more hippie communities. One community is there, Ananda Valley. They have a Vedic background, and they have a wonderful community. They are doing like a 24-hour kirtan. They have a different philosophy, but it's working. It's showing that it can work, and other communities, they show that too, with natural health. And yeah, here we came to that village because Christoph and Krishnanam, they are here with Mirabai, their little daughter, and also because other people here, they want to create a self-sufficient village. So there is that spirit of course, it's not easy to cooperate with them because they have a different mindset and they drink and they eat meat. So I don't want to cooperate with them and work with them closely together. And the mechanisms of how to build a community like that, we saw from them, like how you can do it, the law and building these kind of hubs like a co-op, like a co-op. And I'm still dreaming, and I'm not very effective in what I'm doing, but still I see it it can work in different ways. I don't think it's only that one way of applying Varnasrama College. I think there are many ways, and many different devotees have different inclinations. And first thing is we cooperate like we do here, and then yeah, from there we can see what is most effective. Like I get a lot of inspiration from what you say. There can be doctor thesis about research into that direction, and yeah, it's very inspiring. And
So my questions to you is, why is it that practically no community among devotees have come up and survived decades like that? I mean, having I've seen in the US too, more or less Amish people and other people who have been living like this for generations, they have worked out a way to do it. The remaining people, the happy people and all, very rarely they are able to succeed without God consciousness in the center.
uh-huh.
And then even among like Amish people, 50% of their children don't join the community. That is their rate. No, 50%. And they told me proudly 50% they managed to come here, which is actually very good because most of the communities I don't see practically any children rejoining.
Mhm.
So when we say successful community, what is the gauge of that success? Like, I mean, community is generation after generation, it is working, no? Like children are becoming the people properly and then going forward to do
Yeah,
the same thing, not change it. Oh my God, this was just finished.
yeah, yeah. I
Like,
think there are many.
example.
Hmm?
Yeah,
Hmm?
yeah. I want to see which examples are there.
Yeah, I think there are many reasons for the communities to fall apart, or that why they fell apart. And like yeah, many reasons that um, uh, what is her name? The Elizabeth Scott. I see always in the WhatsApp. What's her initiated name again?
Rupa Manjari Mataji.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, Rupa Manjari Prabhu. Yeah, there she is quoting a lot of those reasons why this is happening. Yeah, and yeah, often there is one leader that is owning the land, and that leader is not properly trained. And then also there are uh, issues with not having the funds or the engagement, having different visions, having different values, having different spiritual masters, and not having a streamlined constitution of how is our sadhana looking like. Yeah, there's no temple, then it's only simple living. Yeah, so there are so many reasons, and yeah. Um,
So this is the thing, no? So if there is without Krishna is the owner and controller of the world. He has told how to make a community. Like if we don't follow his instruction, then it is on flimsy ground, no? Many things could come in the world which will break it. I mean, we don't even have to go empirically on it. We can go through the scriptures and see that he has told how to live. Everything else is like on flimsy thing. It's not a continuously recurring thing which will help us, our family, our society, our community, country, the land, environment, animals, So, what is the success of a community has to be just like that, no? Like, I am coming up with this children thing because, like, that's the essence of the whole Grihastha life and community life. Like, the children should be taking it further and further and more. Not that they become lesser and then it has to become from outside all the time. That's not a successful community. And any community you take, I mean, I can challenge you, bro. I can challenge that all over the world. Like so many communities I've seen on from that angle, and I see they're failing. And I will really
Yeah,
love to see which communities is really doing it.
I like the measuring stick that you have there. And yeah, for the devotee communities, we might need to give it a couple of generations to use it more strictly. And for now, we are still speaking about Varnashram. It's a thing because in ISKCON, it's like Varnashram. The understanding is even so different and so spotted with misunderstandings. How can we speak about uh, where are the communities if there is no one who wants to make these communities?
The point is that we have already seen 50 years. More than two generations have gone by.
But they don't see that Varnashram is one of the higher goals to establish.
That's fine. The leaders were not doing it. Those were some of the reason that we discussed. That is fine. But the devotees, even who were trying to develop it, like let's say Nityananda Prabhu also, he was one of the leaders, meaning he was temple. Of course, so many issues happened over the years. But my point is that what I mean, without a Varnasrama college training people and all these things with preaching intertwined with the whole thing, how can we develop a community among devotees? But
Yeah,
outer devotees, that without Krishna and without like Krishna's way of how to develop a community, how is it going to work? Because hearts are always impure in Kali Yuga. And without the purity of the heart, it has to split. There will be color, there will be quarrels. And finally, what happens is one person owns the land and under him people are staying, or spiritual leader is there, under him people are staying because he is able to subside all these things. But
I
after he leaves, again it splits like that.
I get your point. Yeah, purity and the preaching, chanting, that needs to be in the focus. And on the other hand, there are communities that are working with different models, and if others can create these kind of communities, why cannot we create it? I do think we can with doing it in a systematic way. And uh, I I get when you're saying you're not thinking of self-sufficiency. Yeah, it's not your goal, but also with the healthcare, you want to follow that principle of let's be independent and let's show others how we can be independent in terms of healthcare, in terms of finance, and that others are showing. I like health, finance. Others are showing in communities how to create that, how to do that.
So when I say that is not the goal, meaning vision is yes, goal are these are objectives. Our goal is, achieve this thing. In my lifetime, I don't think I can achieve that goal of self-sufficiency. So it's not my,
Yeah, sure,
because
but
self-sufficiency also means a community. Alone people is not like a alone one can live in a home and create a cocoon like that. The problem will be there's so many problems without a community which we don't want to get into, otherwise there will no need of talking about society and community and Um, so many other issues. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, yeah, that's very nice. You asked that question, why they have not succeeded. So we have discussed that, na, because they have no that point, they are not getting that Varnashram college. So for long run, they have started. You said that they have many have started, but not able to continue that thing. So that was the answer from my side. And second thing, why the leaders, so many intellectuals in ISKCON also, and why they are not getting this point, Varnashram college, no? Just like
I don't know. I mean, couple of things. One is Yasya Deve Parabhaktir, and the second thing is they have to sit on the land to do it. Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada says uh, that I will sit on the land and show you. Sit on, so they have to come Yasya Deve Parabhaktir and then sit on the land and show, and then when you any service one is trying to do, gradually the intelligence starts coming, and then more and more the knowledge comes, and then of course with similar devotees we associate with, we learn from each other, and then we gradually develop that whole an ecosystem within our consciousness of how to develop it.
that also the Yasya Deva Parabhakti is the prominent, because what I have observed, I have never done work anything, but as I heard that in that Hare Krishna village, a very nice farm community. So I was very comfortable, learned little bit gradually, but somehow not able to continue because of the wife. And but no, it was like I like it anything, learned everything very quickly, washing clothes, and I have never washed my clothes. I learned that only. My main concern was that only I asked every devotee how to wash white clothes without washing machine. So they they taught me.
So, Bharat Prabhu, maybe for next week, maybe we can do this exercise of which community do you feel it is a successful community, and what are the yardsticks one is measuring them as successful community by?
I'll not accept that challenge.
No,
I,
all of us, not that you,
uh,
maybe we can do that, because this is an important issue, I think, to discuss. Before we become really convinced on the way to develop community.
mhm. I did interview a couple of communities and asked them why are they successful in existing, and that is then existing for 20 years or so, yeah? Well, what's working for them, and things like that. And the answers there are always similar. So I do think we can apply best practices from communities that exist, and then apply what Srila Prabhupada told us, and Krishna will support different devotees in different regions of the world to create different projects that might be more or less effective, and maybe more selfish, maybe more serving the greater goods and Srila Prabhupada's mission, and some will survive longer, some less. So I've trust, and I'm fully aligned with what you're saying. With all the research, I would love to do that much more. I've done that throughout the years, but then struggled with money or struggled with other things. So it is needed. But I do see a lot of health solutions that different communities also propagate, and I think we can blend that in with our approaches. Like Ayurveda, I think can be blended in with different modern aspects of medicine, and yeah.
Well, about the community, my how to say it, my argument is that communities which are not based on Krishna's principles, which could be there in Christianity too. I'm not saying Krishna is sectarian Krishna, but God has given certain way to live, and if we organize it, and especially Krishna's in Bhagavad Gita, four Varna delineating, because people don't go through Krishna's delineation, still they end up doing the same thing. But it's more troublesome, like without knowing like all the details of it, like structurally. But let's say without that kind of classification and societal demarcation, and without keeping the main goal to achieve Krishna, and without holy name being chanted, whichever names they are chanting, that's no problem. Without that, how even a modicum of success can be achieved, where finally the children are not only doing the same thing, more or less, all mostly, it's not like some people are going away, that's one thing, but mostly they are, I would say 80-90%, no, children, like mostly they will be doing the same thing and growing it further more. Just like, let's say Hari Kirtan Prabhu, he's doing what his father taught him and making it further. More like that. That kind of community growth is what is would be a successful community. See, in the US, there is no more successful community than Amish. No one else has even they can even match the 50% success rate of children, and they were very proud of it. They figured out that even if 50% children go away, 50% stay. That's a huge thing, because this is how the world is. They have come to accept it. You can put in chat GPT and all. I'm sure I haven't done it, but I personally talked to them and they told me like this. And we were staying there sometime. So other communities have gone, they have to ask which one soul, one children remained.
Yeah.
So that if you can find out from those, I don't know if you asked them this, these communities whom you interviewed, how many remained and taking it further.
Yeah, it's all communities that exist for a couple of decades and not generations.
Yeah, and decades meaning in 20 years also children come out, no? One generation according to the US is 14 years or something, 13, 14, some measure 12, some measure 14.
Yeah. Well, I know for some of them, definitely they have kids there. I haven't asked how many stay there. And yeah, I'm just thinking it's good to look at the root causes for failure and what can we do differently. And definitely there needs to be research in terms of health. There needs to be teaching, finances, and
we have to go through backwards to see children. Children will be doing it more than us. That's how we should start thinking. I'm going with, because Shabra was said demigods will be taking birth. And I mean, his whole focus was the future generations. So from that, I understood that this is his focus. And this is later on, I started reading about community, more and more started to understand this is the whole focus.
Yeah. Yeah, what kind of world do we want to create for our children to live in?
Well, the children, how will they take up? I mean, we have to empower the children to be able to take it. That's the whole essence of the whole community. Like ghee,
Yeah.
the milk essence is this. So
Yeah, how to make it so.
We start backwards from that. Like this is we envision this as the goal. The children, like 80-90% of the children are taking this forward, not just Krishna consciousness, but also the lifestyle and work, and then go backwards what they want to do, what their thoughts and desires and angles of visions and needs are, and then see the measure of success, how to create. This is the measure of success, whether we are able to meet those things and create it so that it can continue in the future generations, the structure, so that it can continue future generations. So that is how I have tried to do. that.
Sorry, Pradyumna from yeah. In my mind, this is like so easy because like in Alachua, you can see how it is when a lot of devotees live together. But many of them, they are maybe more culturally, or culture devotees, I would say. I don't want to be demeaning. The, many generations, they stay in the movement. And what is this community based on? They're just living. They're just living together like a neighborhood, like a bigger, wider neighborhood. So I see other communities do that. They own their land. I know here we are speaking about one kshatriya is owning the land. So I can imagine a wider neighborhood where the owning of land is divided. Yeah, at least for this time, it can be a model, or it can be a model for some communities where people live together as long as the hearts are not so purified. There are a lot of anarthas, and people do not agree on together on one land with one person leading it or owning it. So then just bring together the farming aspect, and you can see how people do that. They have a shared infrastructure. They have some sawmill, an olive press. This is happening a lot here. Here are so many people that are expats. They collaborate. They have wonderful networks that's where they support each other. So why should the devotees not be able to do that in one way or another? Because the children, as long as they have other devotee children as their idols, as their peers, why would they go somewhere else? They have fun in kirtan. There are schools like in Alachua, devotee schools, and yeah, they play soccer together. They have everything they need. There is a community, and they cooperate.
Okay, I'm confused now. Are we talking about a rural community or a suburban community?
Why can it not happen on a rural or semi-rural community? I'm not like set on it needs to be very rural.
Because that's the constitution, and when we started Srila Prabhupada was saying self-sufficiency in this, all these things, and that is why he's talking about like showing an example of an alternative lifestyle, an alternative civilization, not just a lifestyle. His thinking is like that. He's showing this is not the way. This civilization is mad civilization. You show another way to live. If we are living in a suburban community, and first is that. Second is the Sankirtan in a suburban community is very tough, no? Because of so many issues when people are, because I also personally know in Alachua, when you're saying a community, the children, generation after generation, in name, they are devotees. But in practice, Prabhu,
many are in practice. I mean, from thousands, maybe the quote is big in, yeah, some are just cultural or in name, but I see others like they
5%, 10%, instead of, it's like
maybe.
90% should be part of the doing the same thing and expanding. Instead, maybe 10% are doing and expanding.
Yeah, of course. It's not as
Success with this is this the success measure? No.
So
Because
which community you are telling that? Only
Alach-
5%.
Alachua, it's a suburban devotee community,
What is suburban?
like colonies, city colony.
And just like I want to ask next time, as you told that we will discuss which community. Just like one name came in my mind, that Kurma Kurma farm, that and all those. So how to see that them?
Hungary?
Kurma farm in Andhra somewhere. No?
So maybe we can take up
Kurmakshetra.
some, yeah,
Kurma-
we can take up examples, no, Prabhu. We can take up, maybe bring people from that community. I mean, I want to learn, I want to understand, and still in that mode. So before, like 20 years back, I started going from that, I started going meeting different communities. I went to all the ISKCON communities in the US. I went to all these other communities in the US. I went to hippie community in the US, other different places, and I gradually started coming to me what all these what I'm speaking to you. It is from that. And then I started developing community in India, and then I'm seeing how it went through, and it becomes more and more clarity from that point of view. And I've lived in Alachua too for some months, and I understand how it is, and I've kept up with it. And so I would love to see if there are any other communities which are successful in this manner, that they are taking the children forward. It is not in name and lifestyle like that, but in mam chayo avya bicharena bhakti yogena sevate, sagunan samatitetan. Like they should be coming to blissful state of Krishna consciousnness. That is actual transcendental devotional service when it starts. So from that stage is what we are talking with Srila Prabhupada and Acharyas are. Why they are telling us to do all these things is to bring people from material consciousness to this transcendental state, to be able to practice transcendental devotional service. So, I mean, practically nobody, no, Prabhu, in Alachua like that. You'll find very few, very, very few devotees.
No, yeah, but elements of success one can see in and pick from different, yeah.
Fine, but I'm just saying a model constitution we cannot like.
No, yeah.
So what is that model that we will take, or what is the path we should take? That's what we are discussing. That's where I'm proposing that we need to do a full-on Varnasrama college, which is like a temple, but with 4 other Varnas next to the city, very nearby to the cities. Now that I want you all to break it. I have developed it with all this experience and reading Srila Prabhupada book. Now let us break it now. Like from all these, you are giving me all these arguments. I am giving you answers from counter arguments, and then anybody can come up with more facts, factual based. With this is my that
you want to prove your system.
yeah, I mean, more, for me and for others, like let us come to this conclusion that this is what Srila Prabhupada wants.
So yeah, I'm wondering how to, it's like if we go with that measuring stick then for the Varrnasrama College, we can only see how successful it is after it's being established, and how do we measure the success for that? We can only see after some time. That would be interesting to discuss. And will it spread? So if because the Varnasrama College system that you are establishing now, not everyone can do, because that is bigger and it needs a lot of funds, and so smaller Varnashram colleges, are they not sometimes, in some cases, also possible in rural areas, or that some families like Ramananda's family are able to contribute from remote? They share their learnings and they give a good example, which is being taught, not like a standalone Varnashram college, but maybe like a Varnashram college with teaching uh, just a fraction, like showing, hey, you can live from making ghee, you can work the oxen, and your children, they can be inspired to continue chanting. And
So, okay, so a couple of things. One is contributing, taking elements from, that is not at all we are talking about. We are talking about a constitution of a community. Contribution, we can, of course, we will be taking from everybody in the universe, so to say. but as a community where more than one family is involved, like
I
two or which has its so many more advantages in terms of, let's say, even in terms of marriage. Where will the children become married to? Not in,
yeah.
so that automatically you need other community members, or
I
bring in
guess
members with their non-training, but you can train them definitely, but it is more difficult and more riskier automatically. So that is how so many social dealing, all the social dealing, spiritual association, in every way, more community is what everyone desires. So when we are talking about single families living, partially doing, of course, Prabhu, the service to Krishna is in everywhere. It can go on and will go on and should go on. But when we are talking about an organized effort for betterment of everybody, it is not that everyone has to do it in one or two places. They should do it in their own places, but and attract people from their own places to come to their places to develop a community. Why remain only one single family? We are trying to develop a model where they can then apply it in their places. Like you could do it in Portugal if you want to, and develop it for like 20, 30 families around. We make devotees and purify them. I mean, gradually bring them to this thing so that a college is there, a proper college is developed. Financially, all these things are not an obstacle at all. If Krishna's instruction is being followed, then everything becomes subservient to it. Lakshmi ji.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, does it need to be like a state registered college? Like, I understand you want to make that.
Says that. Srila Prabhupada says that. And from
Sure.
and
Yeah.
school he doesn't want it, but for college he says get it affiliated. Why? Because it gets more credibility, more funding, more research funding, more professors of proper thing they want to come and contribute. You will get much more intellectual contribution from the academia and the government if you are registered. And students will also will want to see, parents want to see. I mean, it's like, why won't you try to do it if you are the best in going in the world, best knowledge?
Mm. Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada says so too. So I'm just giving a supportive evidences, arguments for it. We have to be the best, Prabhu. We have the best knowledge. We have to be the best. Now we're talking about somebody like Ramananda Prabhu doing with the oxen and everything, and very due respect to him, is so sincere. Everything. I know the difficulties in full-on cow protection program. There are so many insufficiencies in just saying oxen training, because just like I was asking him, how do I control the bulls, the oxen with their horns? It's a tough thing, and we are going back and forth and trying to understand how to do it, because sometimes they smell the cows in heat and they break all these things in the middle. So Vinay is still struck. So I'm asking him how to do this. He would ask me how to do it. It's like, and that is one small example. There are so many more things which are insufficient in it. So I've been trying to say, Prabhu, let us try to develop something like this, a model, and maybe we will come to agreement. Okay, maybe we should try to develop together, because if we develop it together, not that physically one has to come here, physically there, physically here, let's develop a research model from here, three places. Finally, we come up with research is research, no, from wherever it is done, so that knowledge comes out and then we use it in other places. So that is the, like, research has to be done, but in all the aspects of cow protection. Then what will happen is, right now one may be getting one or two people struggling, stressed. They'll end up to learn. But if we have research done and a proper college established in next 5, 10 years, then 20, 30, 50, like young, intelligent men, girls, they want to come and learn because they want to
Yeah.
make career out of it, and they learn Krishna conscious way of doing the whole thing. That is how we should look at, no, like the topmost college, like Ivy League kind of college, established, which people want to come and learn. This is what Srila Prabhupada's knowledge deserves, no, not some.
Yeah, that's a huge undertaking, and I get that's the idea, and I'm expecting there will be different models. If like this will not be attractive for many devotees, if you say Varnasrama College needs to be this top thing, who will be attracted to do that? Then everyone will rather stay in the cozy farms if they have one, and
So
yeah.
I understand, but you see, in the temples, Srila Prabhupada, when he was making temples, like let's say in Mayapur, when he was making the temple, he was saying our temple should be the best. And
Yeah.
in India, he's making temple in Vrindavan should be the best in the country, so that people will see how it is being done. Then he says our cow protection program in India should be the ideal in the world, or like that. So people come and see. These are his instruction, and this is how he was always functioning, always the best. Book printing, best. Book distribution, the best. Everything best. So disciple of Srila Prabhupada would gradually, I mean, we have to come to this thinking, no, that we should do the best thing in the world. Whatever we are doing, it should be the best in the world. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be like struggling around in the community world like that we are half here, half there, living at the fringes of the society.
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada's knowledge deserves to be respected and and by every, like the top intelligentsia of the world, no. And I get it that everybody may not be thinking like this now. That doesn't mean with association, with reading, chanting more, and like that, gradually everyone more or less cannot start thinking the same, because Srila Prabhupada thinks this way. It is not that he is thinking like this, half here, half there, like struggling in the fringes, hiding somewhere like that. When he talking about civilizational change, he's talking like that. First, even in the first canto purports, he's talking like that, changing the civilization, delivering this world. And then if we connect ourselves to this thinking of Srila Prabhupada, I know Krishna also starts reciprocating, because these are Srila Prabhupada's desires. So resources, everything follows that. But if we don't connect ourselves to that thinking, then Krishna reciprocates like that. And we will remain like that too.
Yeah, it depends on where we want to go, what are our visions and our goals are, and then one step towards Krishna, he makes 10 to us, or according to how much we surrender, he will supply. And yeah, I feel grateful and moved by your mission, and only today I understand better what you're actually shooting for. And I hope this vision, it's getting clearer for devotees from now on in the future. The big picture of your vision and the potential and opportunities. And I'm enthused by it, and I like those big visions, and I can imagine what you're creating there, to endeavor for something similar in different areas in terms of self-sufficiency. I cannot open something like this Ayurveda collective, something like that, but I'm curious and intrigued to see what could be something that can be scaled and multiplied from what you are creating. Is it that there needs to be a lot of effort and many devotees needed to to build something where it's like a state registered college where you get like top people and you do top research, or can it be different formats? Can there be a version of like the top ideal thing? I mean, you say the best. Srila Prabhupada is going for the best. Yes, and at the same time, this creates such a black and white. Um, um, yeah, for me, I feel pressure. I feel like, okay, let's get serious. There's urgency. This is important. I only have such a little lifespan left. How can I use it in a proper way? So I get both of this, and I can imagine that some devotees, they are like immediately like, oh, this is not for me. This is too big. And so how can this be something that is attractive for the small Prabhupada Nuga community that we have worldwide? How can we support each other? How can you support others so that they can create something in their area? How can we create materials here where others see, like, yeah, Srila Prabhupada wanted the best, and yeah, changing civilization and creating materials that teach how to become independent. Yeah.
The way you put it, so so Prabhu, the thing is that first of all, it's not like when we think when we connect to Srila Prabhupada's vision, if we also look down and see what all is who is available, and then look up and see Srila Prabhupada's vision, from that point of view, and the vision will break because we can't do it. We feel afraid and everything. It's just like you said, small Prabhupada Noga community and afraid and everything. When we think from our point of view, like we have to do it, it is definitely will never work. It will be anxiety and it is counterproductive. We never should try to do something like this. But the only way it can work is if we try to be an instrument in Srila Prabhupada. And basically instrument means we take those desires of Srila Prabhupada without interrupting it through looking where we are, because we know we can never do it. So we incorporating it within oneself and then meditating on it and really like desiring that I want to do this for you. Please use me as a instrument with other devotees. Like not alone that I become somebody special. Then that's another whole trip where I have gone through and then I've retracted back and I'm thinking more and more. Like the prayer has to be to Srila Prabhupada. I want, please send me devotees whom I can serve, who can do this, who can do this. So as a service to the devotees and to everyone. So from that conscience, of course, with chanting and with reading and with devotee association, that's the most important. Understanding the importance of it, and then really like crying for it, and gradually then he would give this. I mean, if we keep looking down what we have now, we like continuously we have to do what we have to do during the day, like that. But the internally the desire has come more and more in line, and then of course Krishna, when he decides, okay, you are getting ready, or he'll start preparing us for that gradually by beating us, giving us more knowledge from other people, or more opportunities suddenly will come through, and gradually we start seeing it. It's just the whole thing about becoming an instrument of Krishna is you start doing something what Krishna would do, which is like extraordinary. But because we are an instrument only, like
Yeah.
whole Bhagavatam, prayer is that verse is that Arjuna was able to cross over all those ocean of generals, and like they were like so great and so big that he could never have done it, but only by Krishna's
Yeah.
power he could do the empowerment. So that is how that is our desire, that please Krishna use us like that in creating what Srila Prabhupada desires, because we want to see his desires come through, his pleasure, his
Yeah,
vision
this is
world.
the main thing, that prayer and yeah, feeling like incapable, like yeah, whatever I created till now, and I cannot do this and that, and how, yeah, please, yeah, please show me the way and engage me in your service. Thank you, Prabhu.
And the other thing was how what we can do to help others. Prabhu, I cannot. I need your help to develop this thing. That's what we are doing here. Is to with all devotees' help to develop these model. Maybe this consciousness, maybe the way to do it, the knowledge, the like constitute like that. Gradually, we are expanding our knowledge base. You know,
Our consciousness expands from like, yeah,
combined knowledge base and consciousness is everybody's consciousness expanding and knowledge base is expanding so that we can create model which can be applied anywhere.
yeah, mm, yeah,
Yeah. Prabhu, just now you told that na, just like we are instrument, na, just like how Nimit Matram Sevya Sachin. So just like in Varnashram, or we have some certain duties, and then we are just like whatever na, leaders, na, everybody there is different departments. So so the head of the department is guiding, so I have to do the things, and then automatically things will, or separately, just like we have to, just like I just take very small target, na, only uh, not so big thinking like this. So I have to do this. So if I mean to say, if I do my basic things, na, then automatically nicely, then Krishna will automatically give the na, दायरा बढ़ा देंगे काम करने का. Automatically that thing will just like basics. If one just Prabhupada say that I don't want that na materially intellectual person, I want the spiritual fools. If you follow my instruction, then automatically he will guide to he will set the things. Okay, now we have to do like this.
Where
Or
did you
unless how,
I don't want intellectual where did you read that?
yeah, but it's there. I don't want that.
So
I,
you
I will find.
post it in the this is also
Yeah,
one of these Prabhupada says. But the point is that Srila Prabhupada talks about if you don't have intelligence, still Krishna guides. That is the point. Not that I don't want intellectual. Maybe he actually said so many times about devotees going into the colleges, finding all these the class there. So who can be the leaders of the movement? He was not. He actually wanted those people because they have better karma from last life, maybe from pious credits, spiritual pious credits, which will always help in leading. More intelligence is there in the body than it is the mind. More like in the subtle body, if more intelligence given by karma, then it is so helpful. It's just helpful, not required, but helpful not for understanding Krishna, but for pushing on this movement. So those that class is required. So Brahminical class is like that, no more intellectually and more intellectually powerful, like more adept in understanding.
that is also natural, na? Just like a Brahminic guy, just like you. You're naturally you will think like that. It will not be like just like one ashram means only na, that a person can, he can very easily do the things whatever he can do the best, na, just like a Vaishya. This Vaishya is very intelligent at money, so it is very easy for him. He will not take like headache or like this something like burden. So in that sense I want to ask.
Right. So see, the thing is, the burden we take it is of Srila Prabhupada's desires. You see, so from that point of view, we take it's not definitely if we go through the normal Varnasrama, then what you are saying is correct. We don't take extra burdens. But in Devi Varnasrama, especially trying to become a servant of Srila Prabhupada and the gratefulness to him, then we want to take his burdens on us. And those burdens then, because he wants to save everybody, all around everybody. whole this planet he wants to deliver. That's his duty, being given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's empowered like that. So we take on those burdens. Our small mind cannot take up everything, but we pray that, please, Srila Prabhupada, use us. Have to give something in return. So when those things come up, those burdens then come up, then one or two desires maybe we can do out of his 1,000 desires. One or two desires we take out, no, I want to do this. It will automatically come. Krishna will give from heart faith in some different instructions, which may be too much for us, too much for our consciousness, too much for our current intelligence, too much for our current power or money or whatever. So many limitations. But they are limitations. Why? As a soul, there are no limitations. No, we don't have any limitations. We are totally liberated. We can use everything. We can kalpa vraksha, we can pick up from wherever and then do it. We are limited because of the material consciousness which we have currently. So so to remove that material consciousness, I mean, Krishna can give us, he removed the illusions, can give us so many things. It is totally like an open field, depending on between us and Krishna finally. So there is no limitation. As Srila Prabhupada keeps saying, there is no limitation. Only Krishna consciousness is the limitation. So, but artificially we cannot do this. It has to come from, because as soon as we start thinking we have to do it, we fail. We can't do it. We have to pray to Krishna to take on desires, and then Krishna has to start using us as an instrument. That is what we pray for. Not that I have to do like something like now I have to start driving fast to try to do something, and it's just going to fry out our brain and everybody around us.
That also no tesham satat yuktanam bhajtam pritipurvakam. That bhajtam pritipurvakam is prayer only, no? Tesham satat bhajtam pritadami buddhi.
Yeah, that's the only thing in our power, no, out of 4 factors of actions. Our desire, our endeavor. Our endeavor is also from our desire only. The only thing we can do is desire. Because this whole body is a yantra, we are just sitting there. Only can desire, we can't move anything, do anything.
But desire is also like it can be influenced by Sangha only, no? So what is that Sangha? Sangha is also Srila Prabhupada's carrying out the order, or
Most important is hearing from him, is this Sangha, from him. The really, really nicely, like open-mindedly listening without putting anything from any around us into that. That thinking without anything like preconceived thing or what is there in our mind or who we are or what we can do, nothing, like just hearing cleanly. That hearing is what, with faith, that what he's saying is perfectly correct. Putting ourselves out of the picture while hearing. That's the most. And then other devotees who are similarly hearing. Otherwise, with other devotees, then we don't associate that much. Don't become submissive to them that much, because they will push on their limitations on us. But even like opposite, viprit, like vikarma also, like different other things they will push on into us. Or just limitations. People are limited, as conditioned souls. And then they will say something. And then if it is not with the vision of Srila Prabhupada, then we have to not take it so much like that. If we don't distinguish, then we become like them also with that association. But we need to learn this, otherwise because we cannot live without those devotees association too. We also are like that. So each one has to like be like that. But that can only come, this discriminatory power, yasya deve parabhakti, and also hearing from Srila Prabhupada cleanly, like without any other thing. Like whatever he's saying, we hear. That's all. So gradually, then more and more discriminatory power would come and to distinguish how much to hear. So
Once you told that, I asked you that there are many memories, different things. So you told that very nicely. That you told that I hear everything, but I just do not take it absolute. I will filter it with Srila Prabhupada's teaching. So that was very nice. I have.
yeah. Well, this is my real desire that I become an instrument of Srila Prabhupada. And I pray that all of you like bless me with that. And also, if I have anything, then I pray that you all become like that. 'Cause there is no other better feeling in the world, in existing in the world and closeness to Krishna, which is possible without being really used as an instrument. It can be taking care of one's own family extraordinarily also. Like having like even Ramananda Prabhu, he had 5 children. I cannot even imagine me ever able to take even one child. 5 children and performing devotional service. That's like amazing. Like not possible in this world. You know, it's like people have like there's a slogan in India, "Hum do, hamare do." We too, our too. I mean, you can't even think of 5 children. Oh my God, the cost involved and so many souls to take care and figure out and keep on thinking. I mean, that itself is a big thing. But can do much more than that too. More and more, one can become more and more used, you know. So 5 and more, I mean, it just can grow more.
So I was saying that Bharat Prabhu he is in which country?
Portugal.
Portugal. He is also coming, planning to come there.
Well, I have been telling him that please come, stay for some time and help develop and learn as in a Varnashram college, then go back and do the same thing there. Because everybody needs to learn, no? While I need to learn, he needs to learn, everybody needs to learn to, how to do this. We are trying to build it right now. So that building itself, learning process, and we'll do that. And then, of course, the idea is to do it all places. We should always be expanding, not thinking of centralizing in one place. Always more and more devotees. We should be going everywhere to do this. So many countries are there. So many places are there. Thinking in the US and Canada itself, there are like 25 major cities, big metro cities. At least near there, we should be building these Varnashram colleges.
Yeah, but one more question. Just like two things are there. One thing is that devotees should live together. Then they get association, and others also because they are in number, they will get influence of big communities there. And the second aspect is that okay, yeah, they are spreading different places. So how to judge the things, both things?
No, but expansion split, not 4 people, two. Four
Yeah.
devotees become 20, then they split, 15 remain, 5 go, develop, like that.
Okay.
I was asking Amish people how, because they are opening so many different communities. So they told me how to do it is it's like this. They go like 20, 30 families is their maximum in one community. And invariably they have found then this dispute starts coming. And I asked what kind of disputes. This is something like how many horses to use or whether ponies can be used or how much if the phone booth, like I was asking some examples of disputes. So like phone booth should be like a public phone booth should be in the near somebody's home, outside the home, or outside the community, like that kind of dispute, like how much material world to use. Mostly their disputes are related to that. And also children, whether we can allow them after back, because they are 16-year-old children, then they are sent out of the community to experience the world. And then after 2 years, they have 2 years to decide whether they want to come back or not. So if they come back, then they are accepted back, and then they are given a certain like land or whatever. But otherwise, then they leave.
With 16. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, so 16 to 18, and then 18 year they come back, then they can marry and do all the things, get settled. Of course, they don't like intellectuals in that community because they create problems. So, they don't like people with different ideas. They don't want people to read beyond 8th class. So they want to keep everybody like dumbed down. And the any intellectual and everything, they can't last there. So Brahmin, Kshatriya people, Kshatriya, some of them, but mostly Brahmin class, they just go away because they want to research, write books, think through why it is like that. They don't like questions and that thing. So most people don't like, more of those kind of people, they cannot come back. And they don't like it. So they leave, and then they basically so then I was, so when about this splitting, so when they have these kind of dispute, then they say, okay, you five families are thinking we should not have the phone booth in the community. You open a new community, we will support you. This is already in their psyche that they will open new, you know. How the new members are coming is from their children, 5, 10 children they have each. So they are producing new devotees, new people, community members. Almost nobody joins them from outside. They don't like, nobody can kind of live like that in America, you know. So that's how they keep splitting. So because it is already there within the community members that the split is going to happen, it is recommended to happen, then everybody knows it, accepts it. It's not a bad thing. It's not considered. Even money is given to them initially.
So one thing was just like intellectuals also, they also just like leaders, no, they also cannot live together. So better to keep them. He can work there, he can work there. They can use their what we call that innovation and different thing. So it is better also there.
Mm. And I mean, we want it to be expanded, no, more and more. It has to be expanding. Because each country is different, each environment, the land, the climate is so different. So it's, you have to show an example in every place. Each community, all the current culture is one way, differently in India, different. Even in India, different places, different. So you have to do a show example according to that. No? Okay, I think we share. So next week, are we taking up different communities?
Yeah.
Hmm?
I will work on to that Kurm of that what you call Kurm Gram.
Note what is their children's thing, what are they thinking? Bro, when you are talking about, Bharat Prabhu, when talking about, okay, in Varnasrama College, we can only test after 20 years. So what kind of, like, you are asking everybody the test, but you yourself are not going to test. How can they? So definitely, that is the question. So I have been thinking that we at this stage we can only do theoretically, you know, but it needs to be just based on first from Krishna's words, Srila Prabhupada purports and what he has said and desires, and then to take all of that plus the examples of other communities and everything and put it all together as a proposed, like, which proposed community goals, objectives, which with discussion among devotees, we more or less come to this understanding that yes, this is the most possible way that a Srila Prabhupada's community will actually grow and expand among the children rather than split. There is more likelihood to do that.
How long do you want to research till you want to come up to that point?
Research, right now we are weekly, we are going through, no? So like research meaning to come up with the constitution, like we already started doing that.
Okay, you mean,
Yeah, within maybe 2-3 months, we should have something already written out and really thought of, like, that's the most we can do is this, because we can't say no. Having finding the children growing the community further, children or the young people new people coming is one thing, but children have, at least the children whatever are coming and spending so much time energy, they are actually continuing the same thing and becoming mamcha yoga vicharena sagunan samatyate, becoming above the modes, and also doing this thing too together. So I mean, first maybe we should come to this agreement or not, is what other are the criterias of success of a community? What is that? Is this the one of the criterias or the main criteria? What other criteria should we see? You know,
well, yeah, and yeah, what are the criteria of success, and also then the distinction between the Varnsarama College and the rural farm community, that also can be refined to some degree, to have some clarity, and yeah, and have a range. Yeah, what is it that is the ideal, and what is already you're looking like you're
no,
you're
I was trying to read the chat message.
uh, okay, yeah. Um, I see it from perspective of developing a framework,
Uh-huh.
and in the framework there needs to be something that is above the constitution. I think when we speak about constitution, we mean something different at this point, and so we first need to define the projects itself, and yeah, different stages and different ways for devotees in different places in the world to apply that. Yeah, I think that needs much more structure and dedicated work on it beyond the weekly call that we have here. But certainly we will get to a foundation here to start creating that.
So, because during the week I'm actively working on these things, like all these things that I was talking about, and so that also helps. Similarly, other devotees would be working in their fields, whatever in this field, so that once a week when we come together, it's a lot of experiential knowledge we are then communicating with each other. Mhm. Experience is happening. So, I mean, what you are saying makes sense, that if we can do some more work during the week, and uh, like this small things we can do directly, like which other communities I can bring more information from Amish community together. If somebody wants to bring up from other communities or something else to see other examples. But maybe, I mean, first thing is I again and again come, because I am thinking in this way, because Srila Prabhupada said like that about the children and about future generations, and so I started thinking like this, that this is the test of a community, a rural community. The children are remaining devotees or not, and they're good devotees, like above the more devotees, and doing practicing and preaching and developing it more further. So, but if somebody else wants to take a shot at some other symptoms and criteria to measure a successful community, let's do it next week.
Well, certainly the great yeah, there are easy criteria, like how long is it established, that we can measure later, and like the sustainability of how long do the people stay in the community, and I was thinking of one more. Yeah, the grade of independence from the system in terms of health and income, etc. And there can be other parameters from the point of preaching, purity in terms of alignment with Srila Prabhupada's mission. Now, I mean not doing more, like during the week doing more. I see just it needs some sort of alignment and clarity in the definition of what we are doing and what we want to understand. And yeah, I I so much appreciate your knowledge and your refined thinking. Like today, you helped me align back with, yeah, it's the prayer. I have a prayer that I have written and I just don't look at it, and I know how important it is for me, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. So on one hand, I appreciate your blessings and also your attitude and the exchange, and yeah, I'm not certain what my role is in it or others, and I'm very curious to discover now and in the next years to see what will come from this cooperation, and I hope it will make Srila Prabhupada very happy, and there will be some effect where in some generations, looking back, some devotees that are living in those kind of communities, they will say, yeah, that's like the first humble efforts. Like you remember our forefathers, how stupid they started, and yeah, and yeah, for now, I would like to say goodbye.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. This was very nice today. Our Ramananda Prabhu is there. I really want to, every time when he speaks now, after hearing everything, it's always, every sentence is nectarian. Yeah.
Am I the last man standing? Or is anybody else there? Sorry, I've been enjoying listening to you, all Prabhus. I'm in the barn doing a big sort of maha.
You're in the bar?
I'm in the barn here just doing a huge, we're having a birthday party also today for Bhima, and but it's also aligning with the winter sort of preparations for the all the cows and bulls to be here in the barn, and we have 2 pregnancies and stuff, so there's a lot of work to do to get it all nice. So I'm just I have my trucker's headset in and listening, so I'm sorry I'm not very very participating, but I'm gaining a lot from the conversation, so
We want to hear
selfishly
something from you, like what did you think, pros, cons?
yeah. Well, I know it's a little late now, so but I do wish to contribute, but I guess I think for now I'm just trying to get a grasp for the direction that you're thinking, and trying to adapt my thinking, because I think it's quite revolutionary, so it's a lot to digest in some ways. So yeah.
I see. I mean, very nice, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Even that one sentence you said, no, which is made me feel so like happy inside my heart.
Which one was that?
The revolutionary thing, because Srila Prabhupada thinks like this, no, revolutionary.
Oh,
And
yes.
problem is that like problem and opportunity, the adventure opportunity that we have now in this aspect. Like there is nothing revolutionary to be done in the temple and the preaching and Sankirtan like that. Everything has been only showed by example. But in this aspect of expanding then from Brahman preaching to all the other classes preaching to the whole society and engaging the whole family and community, there he didn't show by example. That he gave only in his books and other places. So, what is revolutionary is basically like trying to add under. Who is this lady?
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have interrupted what you were saying.
So, what revolutionary is because it's like from what he's saying to try to dynamically try to understand what can work, what is the direction that he wishes us to take. Like he's present now and his desires are is there, no? His consciousness is here and trying to pick them up and trying to understand them. And I mean, it's been a many ways of trying to go further and further and further. I'm convinced this is the direction he wants me to take. And for us to take is the Varnasrama College and the research and really bringing it up to the highest standard of the world. Because of all these are based on his different written like one instruction he gives, or we should affiliate. So I started thinking, why is he telling about the affiliation? And then with other, gradually it comes to me, okay, this is why he's telling, because it has to attract all the people, all different kinds of people. And like that, in every way, he should be the ideal in the world, cow protection program. So I'm thinking ideal meaning when I go to Cornell and other places, then they said these are all the constituents of a dairy program. And it's like humongous how to run an efficient dairy. Otherwise, financially, it can't be successful. So I'm thinking like that it has to be ideal. When he says ideal, it needs to be ideal to the Cornell whole whole dairy industry. So like that, I have been starting to think, and it could sound revolutionary for sure. I never thought it like that, but definitely it can sound revolutionary.
Well,
And
I don't mean necessarily revolutionary in that regard because I know that Srila Prabhupada's whole concept is meant to be revolutionary. I appreciate what you're saying though. Um, Absolutely, and I agree. We need to revolutionize things. I guess for me, it's just there's certain aspects of what you're conveying that seem, I guess, radically opposed to sort of the status quo that I've become used to conceiving of in terms of the I guess whether it's a rural project or an on college. Not everything, certain aspects of it. Like I've said before, I do agree with the hybridized sort of model of taking it slowly as we're capable of doing, and that just makes sense. And that's just as much as one may want to be like really drastic, the reality will very quickly dictate otherwise. But I guess there's a certain aspect that seems like almost like resigning to reject. It would seem like a rejection of the effort, or what would appear to have been clear instructions on the effort towards self-sufficiency in a sort of in a more simple, reducing the necessities of the body sort of sense. So it seems like a departure from that,
I see.
without necessarily like a commitment to simultaneous development of it.
Mhm.
So I tend to want to say, oh, okay, it's good. I like what you're saying in that regard because it's just the reality. Because how do you simultaneously get all the money and then simultaneously try to live like a peasant? It just doesn't seem compatible. But
Mhm.
So I tend to want to say, well, there should at least be some kind of department integrated into the whole system, so that we it's like almost like a rainy day fund, where it's like we understand the need for these types of endeavors because it's just the world that we live in. But at the same time, we need to have a department where these types of technologies or adaptations to more simplified um, economic solutions or lifestyles are simultaneously being developed, so that I if there's too much dependence on the status quo of the outside world, then we could get caught with our pants down, so to speak, where we haven't actually done anything to prepare for the worst. And then the second point would be maybe that we're not actually developing a lifestyle that's very, very appealing. Like we're sort of just kind of locking into a different form of the matrix, where it's just a money-making endeavors, and you're not really actually enjoying like the simple pleasures of rural lifestyle and stuff. So you're kind of like, so anyway, because you can attract maybe certain people from the outside world, but then there's another section of society that is not attracted to that kind of model too. So I guess maybe it's a question of choosing your candidates. And those who, I don't know, because it seems like very taxing. Seems like it is very taxing. It just seems like another version of what we're sort of not wanting to be a part of anymore, And even though we may have to say, okay, well, you're not going to, if you remain status quo, you're not going to enjoy that ideal that you're thinking of. So you're going to be stuck working a job, So in a way, an alternative solution to sort of to getting to that goal is like attractive in a way, but then if the prospect is that, oh well, it's just going to be another version of what you're already living, integrated with the current outside society, it's like, well, isn't that kind of what we're already doing? Like, how is that any better than what we're living now? I think Bharat Prabhu said sort of thing, well, I'd rather maybe just stay in my comfy farm because it seems too risky and not really like, and not even going towards, not even like a stepping stone towards the ideal that attracted us in the first place, where we actually have a simple life and we can practice Krishna consciousness like simply, and we've come to enjoy a certain lifestyle living on the farm, and if that ends up being jeopardized by being, wanting to be part of like a bigger institutions or something like that, it's not really attractive anymore. So that's why I'm just saying this seems a little radical. I'm trying to just absorb and not jump to conclusions of rejection, and sort of give the benefit of the doubt, that
Thank you very
some
much.
yeah, sorry, Prabhu, I could go on. I tend to get
This is
long-winded
what
and
I wanted
repeat
to hear
myself.
from you. That is why I was really hoping to hear from you. And all what you say is all very, very valid, definitely valid in this kind of endeavor. All these dangers are definitely there. And thank you for pointing them out so lucidly and from different angles. And all I can say is that from this angle, so it's like a temple. In temple, there's danger. It's like when Srila Prabhupada is asking devotees to live in the temple and use everything, whatever is there in Krishna's service, but also live on the mat in the dormitory in the temple, like they live very simply. So
Yeah,
some devotees may not want to do that, and they may get corrupted also by so much of opulence is being utilized to serve Krishna. So like this is the danger is always there when we are trying to use Krishna's opulences in his service. Prabhupada gives the example of this shaving, the blade, the razor can cut both
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
And, so this is exactly the truth. But if you don't use it, then the shaving doesn't take place also. So
Yeah.
so we land up like
That's the principle of the tractors there. You got to use the tractor so long as you absolutely need the tractor. Otherwise, the job doesn't get done, but not so much that you become too dependent on it, and then your whole principle kind of gets jeopardized. It's like you have to be really artful how to,
and the
right?
spiritual strength that what is my goal? I want to go to Krishna and or want to be enjoying in this world. So that especially the leaders, the Brahminical devotees, the Kshatriya devotees, they should show by example. Otherwise, we, as you're rightly saying, it can go into a whole suburban kind of lifestyle of living like that. Because if they are showing by example how they are able to utilize everything for Krishna's service, more or less, and living very simply themselves, not opulently, not using wealth and all these other things which are going to be coming for their own purpose, then everyone else also can imitate, like they emulate the leaders.
Yeah.
So, but if they are not doing it, then everybody will become like that too.
Yeah.
So that's why proper Brahminical devotees are so important to have in the community, by
Yeah,
example.
and that's why I tend to sort of keep the same thing keeps coming on as in our little cottage industry version of what we're doing. We try to maintain both things. We have to maintain business so that we're making the money to pay all the bills, the ever increasing bills, but then simultaneously, in our own mind, we maintain this determination to in parallel to continue to develop sustainable technologies and habits so that will lend themselves later to uh, either being independent in the case of disaster or whatever, or just that lend themselves to actually spending more time on the farm, or whereas you might engage in something that's like our activity for cow protection or whatever is not viable economically. It has to be sustained by, the outside income. But unless you actually start to apply it and look for efficiencies, um, then those efficiencies may not just won't come, right? You can talk about it theoretically until you actually apply it. So it's a little bit like Srila Prabhupada was talking about the Varnasrama College. He said, even if one student or two students go, the government still supports it because it considers it a valuable endeavor, even if it's like at a loss for the government treasury. So we just accept to do these things even if they don't make any financial sense, because later on, as you become more expert, then you can find ways for it to be more economically viable, and then all the other reasons like we'd already discussed, just as ways to engage people so that they're not idle and so on and so forth. So I like to see that extended, like that emphasis extended to a community like an official or formal community endeavor, that there will be a department, and there will be a commitment to funds and resources and time and energy to simultaneously develop um, the more simple technologies and what do you call it? Aspects of simple living that aren't just you know uh, relevant now according to the current state of our outside civilization in terms of their money making abilities. Because
So
yeah.
when we're talking about college,
Hmm.
um, basically it's a demo place, no? Like
Yeah,
that's how I understand a college, meaning it is not just theory, because Srila Prabhupada says these professors will teach by their example. So
yeah,
from that I understood that he's telling about these devotees doing it themselves and showing it by example. They may not be like Vaishyas. They have a little place where they're showing it. So that, like in our place, we trying to develop it like that. We have like the food, all that is being grown, vegetables, fruits, everything.
mm-hmm,
And milk, all these things are there for us. So it's not like we are lacking in, like if something happens, then you cannot grow and all that. But the whole thing is to the whole project, as I understood why Shlapa is saying about Varnasrama College, is you go towards that self-sufficiency. It is not like either or all. You know? So it's like Varnasrama College is the college, like all the colleges are there in the world. There people are taught how to practice and then they go out and practice it. You
mm-hmm,
know? So, but here in this college, one is taught practically how to practice it. So while it is also practicing how to practice it, they are also practicing certain aspects and all kinds of aspects which are possible to be used different, because we have to research which one will work, will not work, how to work it. There's a lot of things going on. So to get to be like what we are talking about for a rural communities, it's a well in a simple way. Like with this herbal thing also, how do you do the healthcare without developing the
yeah.
other the knowledge behind it? You
Oh
can
yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
small things you
Yeah,
can.
as long like it's kind of like you, the I guess the that department of self-sufficiency, call it the Department of Self-Sufficiency, would sort of be like a guiding light to how whatever you are doing are both adaptable, is both irrelevant in terms of the status quo, and in the and in terms of a more, I don't want to say insular, but more, autonomous sort of internal village economy, right? You just kind of don't want to make sure that everything you're doing is only applicable as long as the status quo remains, right? But that's all.
Mhm. So yeah, definitely. So that will be more like theoretical, a theoretical knowledge that this
But
is
also practical in like simultaneously having like developing like an internal economy.
how do we do an internal economy when I give you all these reasons. I try to do it. And then I understood that it is impractical at this stage because the value of the product will be judged by the creation value, because money is required to create it, not labor and like that alone. Like real cash is required. There's
Yeah,
electricity, this, that, people, insurance, taxes, all these are money being used in creating a product.
yeah,
So when you want to sell a product or you want to barter a product, it tends to create a particular economy because you need that to pay in cash. So because of this current system, it's impractical to think of bartering other than a small voluntary scale, but not on in an occupational level.
um so I guess the outside. Okay, so so if two, let's say I have a goods and service, and somebody else has another goods and service. Um, both of our goods and services will be inefficient. Well, not inefficient, but if it's created in a small scale level, it tends to be much more valuable, right? Like in handicrafts and stuff like that. Like if I make a sweater by hand, it's going to be really expensive compared to buying a sweater made from China in a factory or something, right?
Yeah.
Or me making 1 gallon of milk requires so much effort because of the small scale inefficiency.
Yeah.
So for my gallon of milk to be sustaining, I need to charge like $50 a gallon or something, right?
Yeah.
So I guess can there be an assumption made that everybody who produces their own particular goods and services in their small scale um, environment has an equally more valuable goods and service? I don't know if that can be said, but
That valuability is always there, but now how do we convince another person in barter? We have to convince another person that this is valuable to them, and to what degree that they also share, and that other person, that sharing product also should have equal value in their mind.
well, I guess then you can I guess you can use the outside value sort
Exactly,
of
exactly. So if it comes
rating,
down
right?
to the exactly because of that, because of the input costs are in cash, many of them, it comes down to a cash value. So it is not barter as such. It is basically instead of paying cash for one thing and then getting cash and buying with each other, we are kind of going to a little little bit like gift exchanges or like that little bit where we are saying, okay, I will give you one box of ghee when you give me hay bale, knowing that it is more or less the same cash value.
Is there a way of developing like real values and outside values, like where you know I know what my milk is really worth uh, to, to me, like, or what it should be worth. I know that there's no viable possibility of getting that value from the outside, um, community, because people just won't buy it because it's just too easy to buy the cheaper milk, right? Is there a way of like developing two parallel pricing systems so that you say, well, I know, like, if we want an internal trade, then I know milk is worth $50 a gallon, and I know your wheat is worth. Let's just trade internally on our internal pricing system.
I mean, you're not just see, barter whole thing is that you create among each other a value.
Yeah, right.
It's not a cash value. Cash
Oh,
value.
well, okay. But cash value is pretty practical, right? Because it's just pretty dollar cents.
And as soon as we talk cash value, then it loses the barter element. One large element of the barter system is basically that you are going like you are trading in terms of um, each other's experiential value in your community. Just like
Yeah,
before the
you can't use a dollar value. You can't use a dollar value. It's not legitimate to use a dollar value to sort of
so you remove
establish
that
that.
aspect. You remove that aspect of relationship. You come down to cash value, and instead of using exchanging cash, you are exchanging the equal amount of value, valuable
Yeah,
product, which is almost like using cash. You're just not exchanging dollars. You are exchanging the actual cash dollar value.
yeah, yeah.
So
Okay, so that's one question, is just how to establish the value of things. The other thing is, because you were asking about developing, how do you develop an internal economy? Um, I get one of the aspects of an internal economy is just making goods and services that are actually of use in the local economy, and not making stuff that is useless to,
right,
like
right.
focusing on making things that your neighbors can actually use rather than stuff that, only people on the outside can use.
Yeah. So definitely, bro, what happens is that I mean, this is definitely a little bit we can do, but it because we are so constrained, so much like that, because of the cash we have to pay out. Like let's say you are making 30 gallons a day of milk. You know, to be financially sustainable, you need to pay electricity, insurance, property taxes, maybe farm workers, even your children you may have to pay because they also need to maintain their car and phone and want to establish buy a house or build a house, they need cash. So you know these are the income. This is the expenses anyway. So you need to make from 30 gallons a day this much income to be
Yeah.
sustained.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
what you would be able to do is, let's say I have free 5 gallons a week, I can a day, or 2 gallons a day, or 10 gallons a day, I can barter. The rest I have to, even if I give it to a community member, I need at least that much in
Yeah.
value.
Yes. Yes.
So we are so constrained that we are not independent of, we cannot become
No,
independent.
I agree that we can't be 100. I just what I just mean to say is that I feel like we should give or express an importance on, not that we give up on the whole, because it seems like we're giving up on the whole concept of an internal economy, which seems to be very, very contradictory to the whole idea of become self-sufficient. Like Srila Prabhupada states, you don't be dependent, become self-independent, And a village is supposed to be like the smallest critical mass necessary for some sort of local independence, where you don't, like he expressed, you don't need to go outside. You make your friends locally. You trade locally. You travel locally. You have a team of ox cart, and you should be able to maintain yourselves within a certain radius, as is traversable by an oxen within a certain number of days. Your temple is local. Like old villages here, I can't remember what the exact number is, but there's a church every 10 or 11 or something kilometers, because that's what had been determined through critical mass was a reasonable distance that people were willing to travel by horse cart, um, within a certain, maybe it's however we feel like an hour in traffic is like is tolerable, but anything more than that is really starts, like, what do you call that, diminishing return, where you're just like, no, it's not really worth it anymore. So they tend to come up. So that's where I see Srila Prabhupada. He wanted the community to be centered around the transport of an ox cart, and basically the whole economy is independent within that radius. So the role of a self-sufficiency department would be just to uh, and that's like a role of government, right? Is to support and encourage and incentivize economies or economic endeavors or initiatives that can work within that concept. Uh,
So, Prabhu, couple of things. Why I'm so directly, I'm trying to say, I'm not into self-sufficiency, trying to shake devotees up. Not because I don't agree to what Srila Prabhupada is saying, because w- I'm not saying we are not after self-sufficiency. All I'm saying is the timeline for it and the
yeah.
process to achieve it. The timeline
Yes.
can be a few generations away.
Yes, I
Because,
can appreciate that for sure, and I can appreciate the what do you call it, the radical sort of language used perhaps to sort of get people out of a particular paradigm, thinking in a particular paradigm. Yes.
yeah, and it has kind of a kind what what when we look, see, devotees who were there with Srila Prabhupada when Srila Prabhupada is going and pointing, no, this farm, you do it like this, do it like that. They, of course, form this strong opinion that this is how it is supposed to function, you know. But when we have the advantage to look at Srila Prabhupada's books little bit dispassionately and his instructions little bit dispassionately and think over how to do it. And when we start thinking over practically how to do it, we understand nobody in their right mind would try to do something which without planning step by step, step by step, everything, you know. So any organization like Srila Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita needs these four endeavors. Now, uh, 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 we need these constituents. For rural farm community, we need land, people, trained leaders, and like all the research work done on how these things happen, whether it is done in a rural community, whether it's done there, it is the same principles. No? How the oxen implements will be, how a train of oxen is run. All this knowledge is not existing. So and
Yeah.
cow breed, which how much milk, how much the baby suckles on the milk, how the if there are any diseases, what to do. Where is all this knowledge? Like really research knowledge where people can just apply it, knowing that this will work.
Yeah.
Our healthcare, same way. So many things in growing also, so many issues are there, so many diseases are new. Everything needs research, everything needs done, whether it's or wherever. So without all these things, nobody, like if Srila Prabhupada had not gone and shown directly to devotees, do it like this, if we remove that part from this whole equation,
Yeah.
then nobody would want to do it other than doing it through this research and everywhere and really making sure all the constituents are ready and then going for it.
I wonder the authenticity of the research if it's not actually applied in embracing the this
Yeah.
the
So
lifestyle. And I personally wouldn't
valid,
be
very valid
attracted
point.
to I wouldn't particularly be attracted to developing that kind of research if I didn't actually have the benefits of living the lifestyle either.
Mhm.
Right? Like I would want to engage in that kind of research while simultaneously living the the lifestyle. Like I wouldn't want to be part of an institution like Cornell, go to Cornell University and then live a suburban life while gathering data relating to um, um, small scale um, what do you
Yeah.
economic development or like farming or something like that.
Okay. So I understand very well, and this is a very valid point, Prabhu. Thank you very much. And so what I've been thinking is that we do it on our farms. Let's say, like what I was telling about Cornell is we already have cows. We want to do it such that we don't mess around with our principles because rural living, self-sufficiency, whatever, we need to figure out how the weaning of the calves happen, at what month and typically,
Yeah.
and which breed, which thing, you know, and all these things. So and then if they are deceased and their milk production is going low, this, that, how ethically and properly we can increase the milk production because it's not a donation we are giving to the cows. They are Vaishyas are supposed to make money and live from that and thereby be able to protect. So they should be able to optimally produce without
Yeah.
harming them also. Both have to come simultaneously. So all that requires research work. Now, research work doesn't have to be performed by we have to go in suburb and live in a and perform it in Cornell. They perform at our farm, no? Like this is where we are doing it. This is how we are doing it. The way the research happens, go to Cornell or another university and say, I want to do a research like this. we have a sponsor, like 250,000. They told me they take 1,000 at minimum, and then 300, 4,000 will take for different kind of research work. And you propose a research work with a professor, like-minded professor, and they will get some couple of research students involved. They will come and set the research criteria and guidelines and assumptions and everything. They start documenting it, and we start doing it at our farm, and then we keep documenting it. They are involved with it. They are checking the reports, everything, and then it goes on. 1 year, 2 year later, you submit a report. That's research.
Yeah.
So, like that, we are doing it ourselves. There is because that will be the building blocks of really a efficient dairy running in this environment, which is correct. But then there are only a few things which are cash related. If something happens, like we have to put the same model into a rural self-sufficiency community, apart from the marketing model and all these other things, it can be implemented, no, directly you just plant it there with more or less the similar production features, production meaning with the cows and calves and everything. Only the marketing aspects would become different in a rural farm community. So I don't see any like we, whenever devotees want to do it, they could go and do it. That is one thing. And the second thing is, how do we attract people to come and to this lifestyle if they don't see us intellectually very rigorous, very like doing it really very good? When he talks about simple living, high thinking just
Yeah.
doesn't spiritual high thinking. Materially also, it has to be very well perfectly done, no? Like really very
You
like
need to be able to. You need to be able to. If, well, what first answer that comes to mind is you basically just demonstrate it, right?
yeah.
Say, look, this is what I'm doing, and this is my lifestyle, and they would just say, oh, that's the lifestyle I want, and so how do I do it? And then you say, well, here are the numbers. This is this is the economic formula, and there you go.
Yeah. And if
Right. So
I don't want to live in near the city where you are. We say, oh no, this is just a college. You just get trained here, and then according to your likes and where you want to do, you can do it anywhere. But these aspects would go away. These aspects you have to work with, or this has, like that, change
yeah,
different things and modify and apply it anywhere. Right now, there
yeah,
is no ethical dairy model in the world, like expandable model like that.
yeah. So so I guess my point is that um, we have to make sure that the whatever um, whatever economic model we are teaching lends itself to a simple lifestyle, right? And you don't say like an attractive lifestyle.
Well,
That
simple. What
they have to go together, right? Like there's no point in teaching anything if it doesn't promote a specific lifestyle
I mean, you
that is
build it into the model, no, that you are doing with cows on land that itself is a little bit rural. Then you are putting in ethical issues into it, the whole constraints into it. So already you are going towards that, no?
yeah.
It, it's like a
So, but
already.
then is that how do you determine whether your lifestyle is sort of the um is, life like let's say if we were to put something like that into practice, you will not necessarily know right now whether the lifestyle that one has to adopt in order to maintain um, such an initiative is actually in tune with the principles of independence, simplicity. They lend themselves well to not being too affected by the modes of passion and ignorance, and are actually supportive of good chanting and everything. Like in theory, we may go into an endeavor and not really realizing sort of all the aspect and environment that you end up surrounding yourselves with, or the little things that you need to do to tolerate that kind of lifestyle. I don't know if you know what I mean, but
I understand. My thinking is that why
it might be dynamic. You say, hey, this is good, but you know what? Actually, it's not. It's not. It's we're still too much money minded. Just like a little too much money minded. And it kind of it arouses too many passions, and it's really not getting us to where we want to go.
So this is not independent of the spiritual thoughts that we want to teach in this college too. That's the most important. Shabbat says that's the most important when he talked about whether they will be doing this and that. So it is these Varna trainings are supportive to the consciousness that is being hopefully being purified. That is
Yeah.
one aspect. The second is that um, we have to put in a college. Srila Prabhupada says that it is his college, and we basically do our duty to give them all the constituent or the all the um, tools for them to live a Krishna conscious lifestyle on a farm, near a city, wherever. I mean, they have to decide on their own, depending on their own purification level and what their family wants or their community wants to do. However, we can't, like college is like teaching, and then we can further, if they want, we can guide maybe, but that's a separate duty from this college duty, because once you can't be controlling them, no, like you have to do this, do that afterward, after they graduate, just like in any college. So what we can do is by observing them more and more, we bring it back to in the college courses, that we modify the courses from next batch onwards more and more, keep changing it and make it more this way, that way. But as long as our, let's say, Vaishya does the Go Raksha, that is given by Krishna himself, which is a money making thing. Now, there will be mode of passion, because mode of passion people are the Vaishyas and Shudra. I mean, mode of passion and ignorance combined is the Vaishya. So people are
Yeah.
being attracted towards that because they have that tendency anyway. So now it's not like mode of
Right, but it
passion not
shouldn't
come.
be. It's the type of thing that needs to be sort of kept in
By whom?
a very delicate balance, right?
By whom?
So as not to by the Brahminical,
By themselves, no, first of all, these souls.
well, by themselves and by the influence of the Brahminical association.
Exactly. So we can just teach them, no, the tools. Like if they are, it's a progression, no? Each soul is going through a journey. So there will be a lot of passion in it, but we build these constraints in the consciousness that there is ethical ways to do it. Like not killing, not this thing, not that thing, not this thing. Then they say, this is correct. I cannot do this. Already, vast number of population is already denying. We don't want to drink if they are cruel to the cows and to the calves. So we should have faith that there are souls like that, that who will bring that constraint into the business. That is why they are learning it to large extent. And then we are building in these concerns about polluting the earth, Mother Earth, and their families by doing, not using all the chemical pesticides and rotational agriculture, and showing the economic benefit from it, and showing them how marketing, whether it's in the local community or wider community, you can do it by these. So more and more we put in these principles inside the teaching, more and more they become like already there is a large level of, I mean, they can't go beyond it, no? Like as soon as trading is something which can take one beyond, like one can like example. But
Can can we not create a sort of a new or another constraint that is like a self-sufficiency constraint,
Why?
because it was specifically directed by Srila Prabhupada to do so.
Why did he do? Why did he do so?
Okay, so the assumption is from that I've always understood is that by his his perfect revealed knowledge, that the maximum is maximally conducive to Krishna consciousness to live locally, and that we may not be able to see all the different aspects, but we can get a sense of it sometimes from taking part in this current civilization, that there are certain things that when you become entangled in the current economic model, there's just then you get tricked into a lifestyle that continuously robs you of opportunity to engage in Krishna consciousness and peacefulness and so on and so
Let
forth.
us go back
So
to
the assumption is that Srila Prabhupada stated specifically, without necessarily getting into like minute details, that to live locally in the radius of an ox cart is going to give you maximum benefit for a Krishna conscious lifestyle. So you don't even need to like do any research. You just take his word for it. That okay, well,
my question is to on this part that what is his timeline for it? I mean, see, when you say
okay,
self-sufficient,
yeah,
because when he's saying self-sufficiency, he's meaning a community. So when we're teaching one person that you can do a business using cows ethically dairying, and tell him this constraint you cannot practice it or you should not practice it without becoming self-sufficient, then but without a community and the whole all this ecosystem that we were talking about
yeah.
being developed, how can a person do it? It's not it's practical because
No,
it's
I understand. I understand.
able to
No, I
do
understand.
he may be able to
Yeah,
do practice of this business, but then his wife and children and all may suffer, no?
but
And Krishna
it seems like what's
consciousness.
being promoted is the necessity of completely departing from the concept of self-sufficiency in order to attract anybody, And
No,
that would be my only objection is what would appear to be a complete departure or abandonment of the self-sufficient principle, um, as opposed to like, because, and the reason why that would I would object is because you asked what is the timeline, right?
yeah.
As if, and that time, and I would say the timeline, if you do not incorporate an ideal and sort of institutionalize the ideal of progressive of the ideal, then the timeline is absolutely never, right? Like unless you actually formalize the desire or the ideal,
I think this is the point.
then the timeline is absolutely never. And uh, as long as you actually, and then the timeline doesn't necessarily need to be right now. It doesn't necessarily need to be in one generation or two generations, because that's dynamic based on outside circumstances. You can't necessarily be um, we're not in control of a lot of things
Yeah.
and the candidates and so on and so forth. But my objective would be is if you don't establish it as an ideal, the timeline is absolutely never.
Mhm.
And then it's kind of like, well, then it's not really part of the
Yeah.
there's no value put on simple living. It's an abandonment of Srila Prabhupada's principles, and it's not attractive, because at least if I were to say I want to take part of it, because I know at least in 1, 2, 3 generations that the ideal will be achieved, and maximum maximum um, uh, favorability for Krishna conscious lifestyle will be there.
So,
If there's zero prospect, then it just becomes completely unattractive.
I understand.
Then it's like, what are we actually working for? Like, what are we working towards as a community? I guess maybe it just doesn't seem right to just go to agree to abandon that principle altogether. I mean, you may make a maybe you have to make a case that it's impossible and there's no point. We should just be satisfied in being part of the community. Then I guess you start wondering, well, maybe suburban communities aren't so bad. Maybe we should just, you know, go where the devotees are.
So, Prabhu, this why is it? I mean, why is it that we are feeling that these devotees, if we train them well, they are hearing every day from Srila Prabhupada, and like we are thinking self-sufficiency is so important. So by
Yeah.
from hearing from Srila Prabhupada, why is it that they will also not feel it the same way?
Well, be, maybe because the leadership is telling them that it's not a valuable
No, no, no,
ideal.
no,
That's what it's that they're actually sort of working.
no one is telling in that it is not valuable. It is a timeline issue only, that there is a constituent required to do a, that has never been the ever. I will, that is not at all ever thinking that this is,
I'm being a little bit of devil's advocate because
I understand.
but on the other hand, there seems to be a recurring dismissiveness of making it any part of the idea, any part of the sort of formal constitution that this is a valuable ideal that we should at
And
least dedicate some resources, and even like a
all of
to
these resources are for that purpose. All of these. Without these constituents, how do we make a self-sufficient farm community? That is my question to everyone, to
yeah.
show me a way to do it. Like, like all these millions of dollars that we are putting in is to get to that stage, because it's an alternative civilization. I don't understand how devotees are thinking that after 200, 300 years of this industrial civilization, so much has been changed from the rural living, self-sufficient
Yeah.
living, that suddenly we can just go and start doing it. It will take millions and billions of dollars and devotees, thousands of devotees to really build the constituents, no? And so this is the stage. This is the stage where we are in to do that.
Yes. Yeah, that I'm good up until that point. I'm good up to there. I understand you're living in the reality, and unless it's kind of like people refusing to use the tractor because it's against our principles. But then if you don't use the tractor, at this stage you're not doing anything. So the field lies fallow, right?
Other issue, all these issues will see what happens is when you are doing, you're depending on Krishi Goraksha, and the milk, the bulls will be coming, oxen will be coming. What do you do with them? Now you have to figure out, no? You can't just leave it, oh, I don't know. But see, this is all these things have to be built out. If you can figure out a way by which you don't have to use tractor in this economy, definitely you can do it in the rural area too. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm thinking in terms of, let me use all the research, all these resources currently which are available, in as much fast as possible to develop this using all these facilities now. So
Mm-hmm.
much research is required, is humongous, bro. So much. And then with all these things, easily one can, like, it's like no, like nothing much to do. Because you are not uh, suddenly, if this thing is removed, what we are doing actually right now, suddenly this whole material civilization is kind of removed, we will be the kings. We will have so much knowledge to teach everybody. people will give us land. Here, take my land and give me 20% of what is being grown here. Like, do everything.
What will be the incentive? What will be the incentive? What is the incentive of somebody to, because when all resources are at our disposal, what is the incentive to choose the one that is, you know, the simplest? Like what is the incentive to choose the bull over the tractor?
Chanting and Hare Krishna mantra.
Yeah.
Hearing Srila Prabhupada about it. So it has
Right. So
come from
we've
inside.
heard from Prabhupada, right? And so what do we expect when somebody hears from Srila Prabhupada, what do we expect them to come across? Well, like what specific statement or ideal will incentivize them?
Well, the first thing is chanting will purify their hearts of desire to accumulate things by which to be more comfortable in this world, knowing that this is a temporary world, that bodies will come and go. Our main goal is to get Krishna. So automatically the whole tendency to like for, oh, I have this problem here, let me get by this thing. Oh, I have this problem here, this is let me buy this thing. That whole thing will go away. Your body, it's okay. If it is not too
Yeah.
much problem, and it's okay. That will come by purification. But
So
even
you
in our family, each one is different level of bodily comfort, different levels. So we have to give it to them, and we have to provide for them according to their. But also, we are hearing from Srila Prabhupada. He is saying all these things, and we will start experiencing better and better. So what we need to do is to really focus on getting people, devotees, purified more and more, providing them all the circumstances by which all these things are getting purified from the heart, like really from the root. And then also the leaders showing by example, hearing, never saying, oh, Srila Prabhupada is wrong or this or that. But when these terms, all these things, instructions Srila Prabhupada there become self-sufficient, when someone asks, this is how we are working towards it. This is how. Like, through
yeah.
developing all these things, and then the older like students, let's say leaders of in a community, they are
So
living
what
like that. They're not using
yeah.
these, living very, very simply.
So
For example,
do you feel particularly strongly that the goal of self-sufficiency has to be um, absent from the sort of the core mission
without that we
statement?
leave the goal, without that it hampers the goal of developing constituents for the vision we are not giving up. Vision, this is the vision for that. Like the goal to develop all these constituents from the Varnashram College, to train people to do research, everything is to fulfill Srila Prabhupada's vision of self-sufficiency and alternative civilization, model for
Yeah.
alternative
Yeah.
civilization. So, but the goal, as soon as we start saying goal, then it becomes very prominent in one's mind. Okay, how many years? Next 10 years, now, and this and that, and then it just disrupts the whole, priorities of what are more important right now to do.
Yeah. Okay. No, I understand that. So I guess what I think I have a lot of questions about whether what the messaging truly is, and I guess it's been confirmed now that there's like it's there's a deliberate sort of strategy to stay away from that because it's been an obstacle to a large degree.
Yeah, and one can
But
see.
I just wondered if then if maybe swinging the pendulum a little too far, you know, overcompensating, and if there can't be sort of a middle ground, so you don't end up
I mean, I want to
either
understand what
becoming
is that.
completely lost,
I
you
want
know, to the
what is the middle ground, what is that. All I want to do is to develop towards it. Now I want to, like, I have been doing it with the with the crops, with the milk, building so much. I've been researching, trying to do it years and years and years. What
yeah.
else do people want me to do to learn how to live self-sufficiently? I don't know. I have not heard anything else which people are telling me which I'm not doing.
Right.
Like, what is it? Like,
No, so
to,
I don't know what you've done, but and I'm not critiquing it.
no,
I'm
no,
just
not critiquing it. Like
I'm only
food, food, shelter, cloth, everything I've been working towards all these years.
yeah, no, I'm just trying to understand the um where you're coming from by sort of purposely avoiding or discouraging that line of thinking.
No, no, no. Oh, one second. I'm not discounting that line of thinking. See, whenever we are building an endeavor, an organization, we start with the vision statement. This is the mission. This is what we
Yeah.
want. The vision is one, and then there is a mission, and then there are goals. This is goals are very specific. Like in 10 years' time, we want to achieve this. We in 20 years' time, we want to achieve, of 2 years' time, we want to achieve this. Yes, we
Mm-hmm.
come with some goals. See, so the vision remains that same thing. We never will say to, otherwise, what's the whole purpose?
Well, I guess I haven't seen the vision. I guess I would like to see
Vision is what Srila Prabhupada has already given, no? That he wants to live like this. This is the vision. No? He's already given us the vision. We,
So,
we
but
vision.
you would object to a deliberate it seems like you might object to a deliberate integration of like a I was just calling it a self-sufficiency advisory board to guide activities so that they to ensure that they are meeting that that goal, or that they are favorable towards meeting that goal
Oh,
of
what is that goal? I
independence.
have not understood
Yet
it.
the goal is independence within a specific radius,
Okay.
with
Let's
with the use of
let's go
ox
with that
cart, and
one goal. Let's go with one goal.
that's one goal. Yeah.
So one goal, let's do that. That one goal, the whole cow protection, Prabhu, last 16, 17 years that I've been working on is for that one goal.
Yes. Good. Yeah. No.
All this
That's
research,
why it's kind of confused. It's. I'm trying to make sense of the apparent contradiction in like what seems to be being said versus what is actually being done, and I'm just trying to understand like what's the strategy. Uh, and
I'm against is what devotees do is because Srila Prabhupada had said to make this, let us go and start doing this thing. And say I am trying to do self-sufficiency, I am trying to do this, or I'm doing this thing without being actually like having a proper plan to be self-sufficient. It's like it's like in name only, no, Prabhu. Like
yes.
actually there has to be a way financially it should be independent, no?
Okay.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
all of this is like because Krishna has told it should be by Vaishya community. So it should be making money, not just independent financially. It should be making money to support a whole family. Now that is the goal I'm after. Now that money, that whole thing can be in a self-sufficient format like Krishna was doing it. They were rich people. All of these coward boys, Prabhupada Prabhupada writes that in Krishna book. They had so many opulences just from cow protection. Now that is the goal I want. Self-sufficiently doing this activity, cow protection. So now there are constituents required to achieve that, which we went through many times. So that's the research work which is required. So that's what I'm doing it. What happens is in the middle of that, devotees come, no, no, you are not self-sufficient. You should be self-sufficient. Now the whole focus shifts into something impractical, like impractical goal-wise, like time-wise, like without going through the hard struggle, hard like actual steps to actually achieve it. It's all impractical talk, bro. And
Yes. 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 No. That part I understand. I understand. I feel. Is this conversation being recorded, by the way?
Yeah, if you want, I can remove it also.
It still is. No, that's okay. It's okay. What are we? Is it just myself and yourself?
Yeah. Everybody like left after some time.
Everybody has been. Even Bharat Prabhu has left.
I think he had to take dinner or something.
Okay. Maybe you could stop.
Okay, let me stop it.